This dog is afraid of everything, man. You're so scared. Why are your ears back like little airplane wings, huh? What you so scared of? I'll turn this fan on. What you so scared of, Bubby? Get a little bit of air in here. It's kind of warm down here. She tore apart a Red Bull container, one of the cardboard containers for the multiple cans. So there's like little bits of cardboard everywhere. I gotta clean it up at some point. What up, pup? Yeah, she's doing her thing. She'll be wandering in and out as I stream, as I yell at the furniture. I ate too quickly. Oh my God. I got pho from a place that delivers. And I ate it way too fast. And I feel like I'm gonna die. I'll get better. I'll get better. Put all these screwdrivers away. What are you doing, Bubby? What's the puppy doing? Huh? What are you doing over there? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. She marches away. Ah, I know. Everything's loud. Everything's loud. You hate loud noises. Fun now that she can come down here because we can have her around during stream. What are you waiting out there for? Yeah, stuff shaking on the table because of the fan. Weird. Oh boy. Remind me not to ever have my friends on stream again. Those guys were boring as shit. They just distracted me. They were just like in the background having their own discussion that had nothing to do with stream. And it's like, I can't have that. I can't have that. That's not how this works. Like, oh boy. Julian knows what to do when he's here. He always interacts nicely. I gave him a mic and I told them, you know, where they could monitor themselves talking on the mic so that they could speak to me, and then they just ignore me. They're just like, oh, we're here in the background. Like, all right. Not doing that again. No, sir. Put this away. Not gonna need it. The question is whether or not we're gonna mess with chemicals today. I'm not really sure if I want to do that. The methyl ethyl ketones. If we can like brush it onto the 3D print and seal it, or what, or how that's gonna work. I guess the dog's scared and she's hanging out outside the shop because I'm saying stuff loudly. She went upstairs. She's probably asleep by the front door. I need to get some air in here though. I'm dying. Not gonna be cold. It'll get cold later. No, I need fresh air. I'm gonna die. I'm dying. I'm dying of not fresh air. This air is cringe. What up, Gonad? Yeah, I think the dog fled for the upstairs because I'm yelling. Because I'm being loud. I'm being boisterous. What are we gonna do today? Keep the variety going a little bit. Well, I don't want to mess with methyl ethyl ketones. It's a real bad substance, though. I gotta be careful around it. Especially given the not exactly outside nature of the shop. How cool is the compressor pump, though? I wonder if it's seized up again. This is a cool, I mean, like, I ran out of stuff to do on stream, so I ended it early, but this thing is cool as frig. Look at how it works. So as this thing spins, this chamber opens up, and you can see that the gear tooth rolls around the curved air. Gear tooth rolls around the lump. So it'll go from over here to over here. And as it does that, it'll pick up fluid. So here it's picking up fluid. And then when it rolls over to this side, it then seals against, right, these two pieces of metal are sealing. And as it turns, it compresses it down again. As much as it can get away with. You can see it just shot out a little piece of fluid right there. Try some Chat GPT. You're really trying to sell me on this Chat GPT. You're like pimping this thing out to me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm creative enough to come up with stuff to ask Chat GPT to do. I should try it out, but oh, this song is very distracting. Hold on. It's too much just like flute nonsense in the background. There we go. Oh, we're not done with the flute yet. All right, that's enough of that. We're going DJ every day. Mixcloud, and we're going to do the slash, and then I'm gonna type in DJ, just every day. Or is it DJ every day? I think it's DJ every day. Oh, I need to get insulin. Fuck. Shit. Hold on. I gotta do insulin for pho. I just ate just a boatload of carbohydrates in soup form. My stomach is like all over the place right now because it's like, did you just eat that much? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask my phone, what would happen if, for instance, I were to eat something like 45 carbs? And it says inject like 1 billion units. So I'm gonna hit cancel, carbs, and I'm gonna say carbs is 45. Click OK. So that logs the carbs, and then the insulin, I'm gonna give 28 units of insulin. That is so much fucking insulin. Do not bolus, record only. And it doesn't let me do it. It doesn't even let me put it in. Yeah, I have to do 25. All right. Oh, stop that. Don't do that. Is that going to log the 3 units there? No. Insulin, don't bolus, 3 units. Go. Okay, there. Now I can actually do this. That's right. I'm doing this directly on Twitch during my intro. How about that? We give it a second there, and we're done. That's it. No big deal. No big deal. All right, nobody watches the intro anyway. All right, music. This way I won't become a total asshole in the middle of stream because my glucose level's making me feel weird. I wonder why those gears are keyed. Yeah, why is there a mark on both of them? That was weird, right? I was wondering that too. Because I thought I lined it up again, but one health pack used, 50G of inventory. 20. Actually, what is the weight of insulin? I don't know. God, there's metal chips everywhere. We'll see what we get up to today. There should be some interesting stuff that we can do that sort of keeps the variety going around here. I want to play with the methyl ethyl ketone finally, which might be a total fucking mistake. I don't know what methyl ethyl ketone does to the various plastics that I use around here, or if I will gas out my whole shop with it and not be able to come back in here. I'm feeling the weight of the night that I had yesterday, so I'll be okay. I'm just very tired, and I have a lot of carbohydrates in my body right now. Quite a lot of carbohydrates in my body. Keep it out of your eyes and sandwiches. Okay, I'll yeah. Keep it off skin too. I have these nitrile gloves, but I don't know if it's gonna melt the gloves. I don't know what MEK does to nitrile. Yeah, these are nitrile. Non-sterile, single-use, ambidextrous, re-engineered synthetic nitrile. Acetone will get rid of what? I'm trying to get. Hold on, wait, huh? Get rid of what? The weight of what we've done? There's like crunchies on the desk, and I can't tolerate that. Hold on, I gotta give my desk a bath. I'll use a little brush, brushy. Might seep through nitrile after a while. Acetone will thin it to get it off hands if needed. Okay, so I'll wear gloves, and we'll just make sure to take them off at some point. I don't know if the smell is going to be too much for me to do in here, then I'll think about moving my operation. I mean, I've got glass jars back there that I can also use to make like a little containment chamber. What was I looking for over here? I had an important thing. Oh yeah, the dustpan. It's on the other side. It's all the way over here. If you swallow any, have an acetone cleanser. I don't know what you guys think I'm gonna get up to in here. Do I look like somebody who's that? Actually, I shouldn't even say that, because you think about like working on cars. Every single fluid, not to phrase it this way, but every single fluid that exists in a car has been in my mouth. You know, you work hard enough on this kind of stuff. Oh, look at this first-time chatter. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewer, followers, viewer, chatbot. Oh my God, let's moderate this one. Ban. God. I expect if you want to put your fucking website on my stream, that's gonna cost you. That is gonna cost you money, and or just being a polite member of this chat. I have no qualms promoting my viewers. Your competitors said they'd give us some for free. No, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay. Fucking scumbag bots. I hate it so. I hate it here. At least they're kind of fun and easy to identify. I wonder what kind of AI people have done for like. This is a really good set, by the way. I'm actually really enjoying this song. What people have, like the stuff that we don't notice with AI, right? The stuff that we don't notice because they've done it so well. I mean, it's my express hope that AI is so fucking stupid right now that we don't have any problems identifying it, but there's always going to be somebody who's going to use it just right, in just the right subtle manner, right? That we won't know about because we can't tell. The fact that the human body has this mechanism, right? People, our complicated brains, are super duper duper good at identifying patterns, right? We're so good at identifying patterns. Evolutionarily, we've done that because those patterns are what allow us to basically, you know, have agency over the entirety of human existence, right? That's what we've done. We've evolved that. So why then does it stand that the human brain is extraordinarily good at telling when a person is a little bit fake, right? Why can we tell that? Why can we tell if something is impostering a human being? Did that have an evolutionary advantage at some point that we developed this? Because that thought's a little scary. I just threw something in the trash and it bounced off a piece of cardboard directly out of it. Well, yeah, why are we able to do that? Perhaps before recorded history, there was some kind of an incident. Fun to think about. It's fun to think about in the way that everything that my friends were talking about yesterday was not fun to think about. The usual fucking like rage baity kind of discussion-y kind of things. Can you believe X politics did Y? I grow ill. I grow ill of these topics of conversation. I want to talk about more fun stuff. That's why I'm happy to be streaming on my own right now. And in the future, I'm going to be careful about the guests that I allow in. I mean, those guys individually are good, but get them together, they have their own side topic, and I couldn't hear myself think, so I couldn't be fun for you guys. Like two people talking behind somebody who's talking to 75. Crazy. I still taste all the colors of the crayon before I notice they all taste the same. Sometimes we are that, yes. That's a mood. That is a mood, as the kids would say. More scary that there's plenty of people out there who fail for the scams. That sucker, that what's his name? Fucking Barnum Bailey. sucker born every minute or something like that. I don't know. Personally, I never fall for those tricks. I guess the self-selection bias is very much active. This is pretty rancid recently. I'm getting so sick of it. I'm getting so sick of the topic of the week, you know? It's like 2 weeks and my friends have the same fucking talking points that I've read online ad nauseum. You think I could prepare myself better for it, but I'm bad at recall. You know, I can read this stuff all day and then I don't know what to say. And I end up looking stupid. Just because I don't want to talk about it with them, you know? Hey, oh, ha ha ha, you're so dumb, we so smart. The latest topic of thing that make us mad. And I'm just like, I don't care. I don't want to call them out, but it really bores me. I get really bored of that. Buy my new shitcoin. I would like to see how many shitcoin subreddits I have banned. One of my pastimes in the past couple years has been going through the rising section and just banning every single shitcoin subreddit because they come up often. Who is that? That's a global emote. What the heck is that? This thing is so cool. We don't have any use for something like this. It's one of the several kinds of pumps that does everything in modern society. What is this called again? It's not a peristolic pump is when you have a tube that gets squished, and the tube getting squished pushes the stuff forward. Oh, I know Valheim. I like Valheim. I'd like to get back to that. There was a big update of that recently, right? It's a giggling goblin. I see. We had a pretty good run with Valheim, but then we kind of shelved it for other shores, other games. So you just got to learn how to change the topic to something that guy hates. I'll have to find something because he's kind of an emotionless nebula. You know, there's times when he actually just, his only interaction is to try to trigger. His only actions, his only conversation is triggative. He's triggative. He's trying to trigger you. I guess that works as a word, but man, that was a rough one. My brain just stumbling over itself. Tell him about BMW fuel injectors. Oh man. He was not happy when I told him about the battery that he bought in 2018 going bad on me, and all the symptoms of that battery going bad, and he was incredulous. He's like, that couldn't be it. It has to be something else. I bought that battery in 2018. It's an AGM. Because I sent him a picture of the Napa battery in there. He's like, oh, that Napa battery failed. That wasn't the battery I put in. I'm like, no. That's the new battery. That's the new battery. It's the one you did, the one that was made in Germany. That failed. And there was no doubt that it failed because I hooked the battery up to a charger for half a day and nothing was there are pictures in the Discord of me doing this. I had it on that there's a video. I did a video on Twitter where I flipped the thing between 2 amps and 8 amps and the arrow kept going back to different spots. But either way you look at it, that battery was fucked. I had it plugged in for an extended amount of time and no extra charge on the battery. So you would expect after hours and hours at 10 amps, the needle would move up, which it did for the new one. The new one I made sure I charged fully because I haven't driven my car in like 2 days. I think after stream today, I'm just gonna go over to my car and turn it on and drive around just so it knows I still care. Same goes for Jehovah's Witnesses. Come around, sit, listen to them for an hour ago. Now I will tell you about MOSFETs for an hour and they'll never bother you again. That is a good idea because I can talk about that for years. I could almost have a 6-year streaming endeavor revolving around that. Following since September 6th, 2017. Yeah, so that was when That Your Fan followed in September 26, 2017. I don't know when That Your Fan subbed, but they have a first badge, so. Bought a new battery last year, and there's some kind of draw that kept draining and killed one of the cells. Ooh, and it dies just after the warranty. That's rough. My car has so many electrical doodads. It's right at that era of the 90s where they added all these cute little accessories that all have electric motors in them. So my car is like half electrical for what it is. I do have friends who will take Jehovah's Witnesses in, give them a cup of coffee, and have like a theological discussion with them, like deep-rooted theological discussion. I have two friends that have done that before, and one of them is still friends with the Jehovah's Witnesses. And this is like 10 years ago. I don't know any Jehovah's Witnesses, and if he even insinuated that he would be inviting Jehovah's Witnesses to any function that I would attend, I would avoid the state for that day. I would go to another state. I'd go to Delaware and just, hi, I'm in Delaware today. You know, it's just I'm in Delaware today. I'm gonna go to Ohio. I am that dedicated to avoiding dumb shit that I don't like talking about. I used to have a Spaghetti Monster Flying Spaghetti FSM emblem next to my license plate on the back of my car when I was living in Virginia. Actually, well, that was the car that I sold for the station wagon that I have now. But that car, I would be commuting in Virginia, and I saw another like a BMW Mini that had one on it too, and I was like trying to be a total nerd, like, hey, you had to have noticed. They didn't bat an eyelash, unfortunately. You had one on your car too. Yeah, back in the days of yore when you subbed. No hard feelings, you freaking cheapskate. It doesn't even watch my stream anymore. It has the audacity to have the name That Your Fan. You're not a fan anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. I'm being toxic. I'm being toxic because I was the recipient of a lot of toxicity last night. Streams getting the board laser burnt. We're lit, dude. I know. I enjoyed the facets of that project that stuck with me. We're doing it again. We're still working on it, man. We got the next version right here. I don't know how up to date you are, but this is going to be the new version of the control panel that will allow me to unplug a big DB connector, because DB connectors will be with us until mankind is done being mankind. That's my opinion on it. This is like, I was telling Flatulent Gonad that the DB connector is one of those human-shaped things that we'll just have forever. Like the flathead screwdriver will just be around. We will not get rid of this. Where is it? I'm gonna reach out and get it along. Okay, this thing right here, this person-sized flathead screwdriver will never go away. This will never go away, this tool. This is forever. The year is 4027. Some half-drunk maniac is gonna reach into their tool bag and pull out something that looks like this so that they can stick it into a plasma coil or something, right? This is always gonna be around. I feel that way about the DB connector as well. It's just the right size for a person to solder it. It can carry a boatload of current, which in this day and age of more and more digital stuff is basically saddling it as just like compatible with everything, right? It's not like you need big contacts on most of the stuff that we do. So that, I mean, just the solder cups and the design of it and all that stuff, it will be here forever. That's what I feel about the DB connector. Anyway, we've been working on the control panel for this thing. I've been doing a lot of three-dimensional design as well as a lot of mechanical 3D printing, blah, 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 blah. So I'm putting my best foot forward as usual on the next version of Burn the Subs. I'm not willing to let it be the collection of trash that it has historically been. This will be a little bit nicer this time. Trying to put my best foot forward. Each and every aspect of this project has become drawn out, and that's just the way it is. Once we get the mechanical stuff ready to go, and I get the power supply ready to go, we wire it, and then we start programming it, basically. I have to figure out the tubes and stuff too. So in preparation for that, today, we're going to be working with methyl ethyl ketone a little bit, I think, in order to try to melt the 3D prints. I'll have to gather all my stuff for that. But in interest of keeping the variety up, I just don't want to. I don't want to just get stuck doing wiring like Flatulent Gonad does in his professional life. I don't want to just sit there and wire 10 million connectors with you guys. We'll try to keep it a little bit of a variety of tasks going, you know. Live right up the road. Oh wait, what was that? That guy whose sole purpose in life was to find naughty Twitch usernames. That was MurderBits, and I haven't kept track. I think I'm subbed, or I'm following MurderBits. He streams. He's got a very nice streaming setup. He's a very generous person, and that he has a very active credit card hooked up to Twitch. And so MurderBits would search around for naughty names on Twitch, and it became so readily apparent how he was looking for the names. It was thing underscore sex joke underscore thing. Like, that was sort of more or less the format of every single one of the names that he found to give subs to. And I'm stressing the names that he found. I'm stressing that right there, because he adamantly, to his deathbed, he's still alive, but to his deathbed, defends that he searched for those names and was not making those accounts. Because every time we'd look at it, it would be confusing. There would be a relatively new account, but then there would be these really old accounts on it too. He might have found Butthole Tornado. I'm not sure who found Butthole Tornado, but Butthole Tornado retweeted a clip of their name going up on the board. They said, my stupid Twitch name, something like got a gift sub again, and then I found the coolest thing ever. I loved that. That was great. Who knew that the tornado of buttholes would surface for that? For me. Stream kept buffering for some reason, found out physical memory was at 99%. Noah used DB connectors on the Ark. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. My friend is a Jehovah's Witness, and he's so much fun in the pub. Ah. Yeah, I know friends of mine have, they have, like, had long conversations with them. If I see people at my door, I come down here and turn off all the lights. And then I call the police. Stream starts when I goddamn say it, it does. I don't know why you guys think you have any agency over that here. You keep telling me, wow, why it bother you to start soon thing up. I know. I know. This thing is so cool. So yeah, this is a positive displacement pump. I guess they're relying on the mechanical tolerances to make a steel on the top and the bottom surface. I like this mix. The bottom surface, of course, has the inlet and the outlet on it, and that's why it's got the swoopity hoops. Yeah, as if soon wasn't enough of a designation for you idiots. You idiots. So I guess this thing was seized up. You can see how awful the brake fluid is in there. Yeah, I'm starting a little late today because my pho didn't get here in time. I ordered pho because it's like a weekend tradition of mine, and it's also a mild hangover cure. But it took a while to get here, and then I wolfed the fucking thing down, and now my stomach is like all crazy at me. But yeah, that's why we're a little bit late. But we're hanging out. We're hanging out. I'm not going to get too crazy with the stream today. We're gonna take it easy, kind of like we did yesterday. Look at all the little particles in here. I didn't notice that until I think I like woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, wait a minute. Look at all those little particles in there. The little particles. I don't know if they're like getting, I mean, they could get caught in the mechanism and seize it. This might have been the result of me breaking it open, breaking it free, and then maybe some debris got in from the side. But if that was in my brake lines, I'm in trouble. I don't know what the ABS system is looking like too. There's definitely air in my ABS system right now, and I'm not happy about that. I need to run it through sort of the proper steps of the procedure to get rid of all of the air. There's a way that you have to activate the ABS in order to get the air bubbles to kind of get knocked free. Is this a little loud for the music? Probably. Knock it down a little bit. We're having a party. Yeah, it did not look good. I hate how my hand has to cover most of this in order to spin it. I wish I could spin it from the other side so you guys can get a better impression of it moving. It rolls from one side to the other. Yoink. Pretty cool. Yeah, there you go. All the emotes. Looks like a kitchen sink drain. Ooh. After you've eaten some grody food, right? Neato gazebo. I'm happy we were able to take that apart. I'm unhappy that it took so little time to take apart, though. I don't know what I'm looking at. Yeah, what this thing is for some reason in my car, my generation of BMW, what they decided to do with the anti-lock braking system is that when you get to a certain speed, they figure you're going to need more pressure in order to activate the ABS. That pressure is not provided by the original pump in the ABS module, and it is not provided by your foot. Instead, it is provided by this pump right here. I didn't even notice Melbell 12 because Melbell and That Your Fan have the same color name and a first badge. I didn't even notice that. We got all the first people out again. Who else will show up? Need to get Celia and well, I don't think Leb TV counts as a first sub. I think Leb has historically been gifted subs. He doesn't sub on his own. I wonder who else is out there? Dat Dietz. There's some old school names. This is too much fun. I'm having too much fun just spinning this thing. Let's just go over to this camera. Let's go to a different camera entirely. I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun. First gifted sub? Yeah, I think he was. OctoJ was the first sub. The first one, because he expressly was like, you gotta let me know when they allow you people to subscribe to you. I was like, all right, man. First wave, yeah. OctoJ was a day before everybody was allowed to sub. Well, no, a day before the stream where everybody was allowed to sub there, because yeah. Looking around. What do we got here? I need to get the stuff. I need to get the stuff that we're gonna use to mess around with 3D prints. Get the stuff. Where is the stuff? What I mean is I have a bin that's full of laser stuff, and one of the things of the laser stuff are the 3D prints that we're gonna try to melt. Pew, pew, pew. This is a really good intro mix. I hope this doesn't get struck anywhere. Muted. I would like to use this one again. All right, we have no visits from the Corgi. We had one at the very beginning of the stream. We had a visit from the Corgi, but I guess while I'm yelling at the furniture, she has decided to just kind of vacate the premises and just be upstairs. She's probably sitting by the front door because we've been opening the front door and we just have a big window door there, a big glass door that she just sits behind, curled up with my sweatshirt in a shoe bin. Little trays for the little plastic tray for people to put shoes in. Yeah, she curls up in that. So we probably won't be getting a visit from the puppy today. MEK. Now, I have a paintbrush, but I use it for dusting stuff. I was thinking I could paint this onto the 3D print, maybe? We'll have to see. We'll have to see where we get to with that. The alternative, though, is to put it in a jar. I don't have like one of those pickle things where you can like pull out a little basket of you know, there's like certain cocktail pickles, gherkins. What are they called? Some of them have this plastic thing in the pickle thing that you can pick up, and it brings all the pickles up to the top. It's a little basket. Those are great. I could eat those in one sitting. Oh my God, what did the song do? Use one for my resin prints. Oh, see? Pickle lifter. Yeah, I'm the guy that designed the pickle lifter. That was I got patents on it. I got a patent for the pickle lifter. We originally came up with something different, but then we decided, why don't we have the pickle lifter? And so, you know, the rest was just infamy, you know? So I made the pickle lifter. I'm the guy. I'm that guy. I'm Joe Pickle Lifter. If it breaks, you'll be in brine. I don't know. And then Rick and Morty stole it. They stole my idea. I hope the table doesn't melt from this crap. I guess I took the tubes out of this. I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have taken the tubes out of this. I could have tried to seal this one and then put the tubes back in. I guess I could just shove them back in and see if that'll work. It was a consulting job, and it was with the FBI. I had security clearance and everything. And eventually, we got underbid by a subcontractor, and that was that. But I did that for about 10 years. 10 years! While also doing artwork for festivals and stuff on the side. I need that creative outlet. Yeah, we would do analysis on the devices and write reports about them. I never worked with like direct. Well, can't say never, but we didn't do anything like that. That wasn't what that operation was about. This one's a little bit sloppy on the overhangs. And it'll still work. It'll still work as a chamber that our laser can get exposed to water through. Not really. We're not exposing the laser directly. It's the metal that hits the laser on this little tube here that we want to have a water jacket around that doesn't leak. Unfortunately, PETG. Well, I'll get into that. Yeah, right? Well, typically I would be haunting something that was kind of an insane, like, you know, like a friggin' fire cannon. You know, 10 fire cannons hooked up to a MIDI thing. I think it would be less shocking than to receive, you know, oh, I work with IEDs in the professional world. You meet some wacky people at these festivals. You still have a badge? No, they destroy the badge when you leave the building. And if you don't have a justification for having the clearance, you don't have the clearance. Like, it expires after a little while, and you have to put inactive on your resumes and stuff because you're not actively using it at the time. It's very, very tightly controlled. So yeah, I don't have anything like that anymore. I'm just a schlub like you guys. Ugh. When I was making the brake booster for priming my brakes after, you know, replacing certain equipment in it, I cut a disc out of metal. The only metal that I had, scrap-wise, was the side of the side of an old computer. And so I used the fly cutter on that, on the side of the computer. I didn't clamp anything down. So the pressure from the side cutter pushed down the metal, and it made this very large burr lip on the outside of the disc that I needed. So I went to file off that edge, and I'm like, maybe I could try using this tool. And I tried like different tools, and then the inevitable strikes, and it just went shoop, and it put this gash right in front of my frickin' ring finger. So while that's scabbed over and everything, there's still like a little tiny bit of skin overhanging. Oh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. I should have put a tighter bandage on it though. I think then it would have scabbed up smaller, because now I've got this like divot in my ring finger. I just gotta not play with it. I gotta let it heal. Let my body do its thing. It knows what it's doing. You can use a condescending sweetheart on your comment. Come on. Let's get started. You guys aren't allowed to put on a tough guy act. I'm the one that does that. I get a new scar almost every other day. Yeah, I think I'm clocking that as well. Now that the puppy's teeth have all fallen out and her adult teeth are in and acclimated, she's not breaking skin as much. This is from car work. These fading ones are from puppy, but they're going away. So yeah, she's less, but the dog is a little bit less lethal at the moment. All right, let's get the music out of here. Goodbye, music. You were a good mix. And away it goes. Further and further into the obscurity of low volume town. Okay, hi, hello, how's it going? We're doing a Saturday for once. Hey, how's that? How's that for things going on? I was getting a little anxiety from not streaming. I don't know why, but we gotta put work in here. We have a lot of stuff to do. I want to get Burn the Subs up and running as soon as possible without burning myself out. Burn the Subs, if you're unaware, is this thing sitting behind me. It's where everything's going to end up mounting. It's also this thing sitting in front of me. It's all over the place right now. We're trying to put it all together so that it can just sit behind me. But this big board on my wall, it's a big live edge board that I got in God knows where, Pennsylvania. That board is going to house the names of people who subscribe to the stream. The way that it's going to do that is it's going to actually create, using fonts and image manipulation, it's going to create a map of all the names on the board, find a location on the board randomly, and burn that name into meat space with a laser. So we've got a Raspberry Pi. We have a 3D printer controller now with some nice drivers on it that it's going to control the X and the Y. And the Raspberry Pi is able to chug away at that problem that I just described and figure out how or why or where, depending on the settings, the names go up. It'll make what looks essentially like a word cloud of names that are fun to look through. When somebody subscribes, the board will do this job automatically. If I'm not streaming, then it will wait. It'll wait until I start streaming in order to start burning names. If somebody gifts a sub to someone else, then it will burn up just the name of the giftee, the person who receives the gift. That way you can find a funny name on Twitch and you can sub it and it'll go up on the board. I figure that Twitch is the one that's policing the profanity on the names, but there will be a... I don't have anything to put that up. Well, there needs to be an accessible kill switch for like any names that sort of cross lines. And I don't tell chat where the line is, but they have crossed it a couple times, and I have to de-emphasize that because otherwise they will sit on that line. I don't want that. That's the opposite of fun. So anyway. That's the board. That's essentially what it's going to be. It's a robot that basically comes to life when a subscriber subs to the channel, and that has put me into kind of a cool space on Twitch. It's encouraged a lot of really neat activity on the account. I never seem to have popped off though. That's the thing that everybody doesn't really understand. Neither do I, but whatever. We'll be cool about it, and eventually maybe something will find its way over to me, and I'll get famous. That's not going to happen. Anyway, we're steadily working on this thing. I'm doing what I do, which is noodling around with circuits in perpetuity. I would like, since this thing is a fairly powerful blue laser, I would like to be nice to it and actually cool it off. And so the way that I've determined to do that is by water cooling it. Because, I mean, geez, 3D printing, water cooling, all this stuff is like really accessible now, right? You can just open up a catalog and find tons of different water cooling stuff. This thing's looking a little dirty just because this is, I haven't cleaned it for, you know, like the final, we're still not done figuring out how to put all this stuff together. So this stuff is going to remain a little bit grody until then. I've 3D printed brackets that hold up a reservoir for a water cooling, a 5 1/4 drive bay for water cooling your computer. I've found a site that has miniature radiators that also has 3D models of those. I found a 12-volt pump that seems to be powerful and small enough, that's down here, to run water through small hoses a significant distance. I have designed and 3D printed a jacket that fits around the metal laser. Now having the chrome jacket on this is kind of a little weird. I don't know if that'll end up rusting or not. But basically, the laser itself is a little diode that sits inside of a can that is pressed into a block that is then has a backing screwed on it and a lens screwed on the other side. So what's happening is the diode will dump its heat into the metal, and then we're hoping to dissipate it in that metal. This is going to be a 2-watt laser diode, which is not insignificant. We might pull back the power a little bit because we don't need, I mean, I guess burning the names quickly would probably be nice. So maybe we need to play around with that once we get to that point, once we get all the hardware in. So yeah, we'll have to play with that. Maybe I can speed things up a little bit. But anyway, as this thing is burning, that diode is making a lot of electrons dance, or making a lot of light dance around, basically. And in doing so, it does create a significant amount of heat. There has to be, I don't know, there's just a lot of electrons wibbling about. So with all that heat, we can dissipate that with water. That's a fairly common thing to do. I could dissipate it with air. I had a laptop heatsink on this thing previously, but I think it would be cooler. And I hate the puns that come about when I try to explain this. I think it would be more fun if we water cool it, just because it's a challenge. I went through all the trouble of getting these double cutoffs. These are from Alibaba, and they took forever to get here, but this will cut off water supply if I unplug it, and it'll keep both sides from draining. So if I need to work on stuff, which has happened before, I can actually just unplug everything. I'll be able to unplug these in the DB connector, unplug power, and then just get this thing off of the wall and bring it over here. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Ran into a problem, though. We designed and printed this jacket for the laser, and it's, I don't know, I think it's a good design. I think it's pretty nice. I think it works, you know? But there's one problem. There's one problem that we discovered, and people wouldn't let me discover that problem. They kept having to insert their knowledge that I didn't ask for. I appreciate failing. Failure is a teaching moment for yourself. You don't have to super succeed at absolutely everything you attempt. So what happened was people were constantly warning me that PETG, while you can print like cups and stuff with it, would leak. PETG would leak. And I said, no, it won't. And so we struggled to get caulk all around this thing. I got to make sure to emphasize the L. We made sure to get caulk all around this thing so that it sealed properly. There were a lot of little leaks. There's actually quite a bit of pressure from that 12-volt pump all the way out here where the laser is. We have a length of tubing that we hook up to this thing that basically is the length of tubing that it takes to get from the control panel to the gantry. However, when I finally got this thing to fully seal and we got the pump running on it, it leaked out of the layers. When 3D printing, no matter how hot you have your PETG printer set, actually, I can't say that for certain. When you have your PETG printer at an ideal heat that keeps clear plastics shiny, as it's depositing those layers, there is just a cooling factor that you can't quite control. So while some portions, and most portions of this, are stuck together really, really well, they are not watertight. They're probably not airtight either. The little tiny spaces on those layers being printed on top of one another have just tiny micro gaps in it, and the water will find that and leak out of it. I didn't think that was going to happen because it didn't appear to be what was happening. All of our problems revolved around my inability to put caulk down cleanly, but after fooling with it for a little while, we finally got it sealed and it leaked out of the interstitial layers of the print. That was very clear. So, could you harden it by baking it for a bit? Done this with HTPLA. Yes, we tried heat. I didn't try uniform heat from the toaster. We also tried something called salt sintering. Or no, is it not sintering? It's anyway, you pack it in salt and then you bake the salt. And so we've had varying degrees of success with that. Packing it in table salt that you grind to be a finer powder. And chat had absolutely no idea why I was grinding salt in a mortar and pestle. They had absolutely no idea. Like, I don't know. I had to, like, people were like incredulous about it. It was really weird. When you get into like the 3D printing part of Twitch, people get real weird. But anyway, the idea was to pack salt tightly around the print. Even when I was tamping down the salt, people were wondering what the hell, like they could not understand what I was doing. It was really weird disconnect, because everything I was doing made perfect sense. I don't know. Anyway, what you do is you take the print and you take a bowl and you pack salt really tightly, put the print down, fill stuff around it, pat down, tamp it, pack it all really tight, put it into the toaster oven. It gets up to a temperature where the PETG reflows just slightly, and then you unpack it and let it cool and everything, and you supposedly have a sealed print, but it also seems to have made the prints very weird looking. So just got to justify it. Well, I've explained this before and I'll explain it again, that the thing about a 3D printer is that you have to expect that that 3D printer is going to become the project. Why use PETG? It's just what I use. It's a very strong plastic. It's nice for functional engineering prints that you need to be like strong. I actually needed that part and I don't know where it went. It actually disappeared. I need that part. Wait a minute. Where did that? It seems to, I think it might be behind the soldering iron. Might have fallen in a weird spot. Or it just bounced all around and now it's behind the desk. I didn't hear it bounce down from the desk though. I guess it's not there. Is it in here? Nope. It's gone. It's gone forever. It's gone forever. I just lost it. It's probably behind everything. Well, maybe we can avoid it. Maybe I don't need that. Oh well, there goes that. Maybe one day when I come off the road and have more time for it. Yeah, when demos go wrong, I know. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, the method that I haven't tried yet is to use chemicals in order to melt it. Well, I tried to use a torch on one of them. I think that was the one no, it's this one. This is one of the salt-packed ones when we got it to really work nicely. Epoxy dip. Yeah, that may be the direction that we're going, but I don't want it to like deglove and then start leaking everywhere. I don't want to add other polymers to this. I would rather this polymer seal. So yeah, this is one of the ones, the later ones, where I figured out how to do the salt packing properly, and then I tried to use a torch on it and kind of melted it a little bit. So there's stages to these things, and maybe if I'm a little bit more careful about the tools, I would have better success. But it's not looking good, you know. I don't like the look. So what the video, the YouTube video, was polished. It was completely polished and everything went perfectly in the YouTube video. So yeah, the solution that I would like to try, and we'll try it today, methyl ethyl ketone. People make all kinds of like chambers for misty gassing of their prints in order to sort of refine them. We don't have that technology. I'm going to put a paper towel into a jar, and we'll use that and see what that does. And if I need to, I'll get a piece of glass that we can put this thing down on top of so that it doesn't end up melting completely. But let's just give it a try. This stuff is supposedly really fucking bad. Like, this stuff is terrible, terrible stuff. Lots of warnings. They say just don't get it on your skin. I think there's a little more to it than that, but I don't know. We'll give this a shot and we'll see what we're in for here. Let me get a jar. I'm gonna go get a jar. I know there's a couple on the other side of the shop here. I mean, we need to have some kind of like a test so that I know what I'm getting into first. So we'll just melt something. The first one that we test is not really gonna make it out. unless this is that successful. I think I have like a glass syringe that I could use. I don't know what plastics are going to be happy with this stuff and what plastics aren't, or if this rubber jar will survive this. I'm not really sure. This is rubber up here. Hopefully that's okay. Good old jarring jars. This thing still smells like hot peppers. Okay, well. What now? What now? I could pour a little bit of this in there and we could just shove one of these in and just see what it does. You guys ready to do that? Let's give it a shot. I mean, the alternative is that I paint the methyl ethyl ketone on. And I don't have acetone with me at the moment. I mean, I do. It's across the shop, but all right, let's see what this stuff smells like, huh? Get ready for coughing and choking to be on the mic. Now, am I peeling up the seal of this? That's just like plastic, blatant plastic there. So yeah, this is actually the, no, that's actually the okay. There's still a layer of plastic on it too. That layer of plastic's doing quite a bit of work right now. Yeah, all right, paper towel. I need a place to put the stuff so that it doesn't get on me. Just shot a bunch of it under my fingernail, that's great. Woo, that is spicy stuff. That's a smell, that is a smell. It's like a paint store. Let's do like just a little tiny hole and then a little air hole in the back. And I'll just use that to pour a very small amount. I'll put just a little tiny bit in there. Little tiny bit in there. Close the cap so I don't have to smell this shit all over the place. Make sure it doesn't hit my hand. Already exposed myself to this. Should probably put gloves on for any further stuff. And then we'll drop in our first test case. We'll do the one that's a little bit melted. I'm just gonna drop it in because I don't know what this stuff does. So I want to see what it does to the part that's touching it and the part that isn't. If perhaps I should be baking it on, or if I should, sorry, brushing, not baking. If I should be brushing it on, or what. Now this part already seals. This is we're basically just doing this so that I can get an impression of what this stuff does to the PETG. Now, it looks like it's probably going to take a bit of time, isn't it? Probably should have found a clear jar. something with smoother walls. Something that wasn't manufactured in the 1800s. I don't see nothing happening here. It does appear to be soaking in a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of soaking into the to the bottom part there. Should I shake it? I don't know if I should shake it or what. Now, what are those people make like misting chambers for the 3D prints? What's that about? I wonder if I could do something like that. I'll look up that while let's just like let that sit for a little while, and I'm gonna look up what the hell I'm even doing here, because that was my initial foray into playing with the chemicals, but we need to actually do a little bit of legwork before we make a serious attempt. So, MEK smoothing print. What the hell is... hold on. Theater mode. Why does anybody use any other mode? Methyl what? Chloride? That seems a little unsafe. Let's see, what do we got? Vapor smoothing PLA with methylene chloride. Was that the video that we just watched? Yeah, basically the same thing. I see. He's using something to hold it up. Oh, that jar cap looks familiar. Yeah, so he's got it hanging. He's using some kind of fishing line to hold it up, and then he tapes it to the top. I wouldn't trust that tape in that environment. That looks sloppy. That looks really, really sloppy. I was gonna say, 48 hours. Paper towel to the base. I knew I should have done that. Okay, this is looking very similar. I didn't plan any of this, by the way. I looked up some of this stuff beforehand. I know this video would be almost exactly showcasing what we're doing. And that's the horrible chemical. Psi grip. Yeah, how long does it take now? 5 minutes. But he does it for a couple hours. I gotta find like fishing line. We can use a little piece of wire. A little piece of wire should do us just fine. And he dumps it out into his hand. What? Wait a minute, dude. Why'd you dump it out into your hand? Shouldn't you wash that off? PLA feels rubbery and... Whoa! Look at that. Well, that's cool. Yeah, you can see through it a little bit more easily now that the surface is becoming more uniform. Bulgy, please don't say that. Point of this experiment, smooth the surface, didn't achieve the results we wanted. That's not my goal. So that's actually a good result. What they have happened there. So that's okay. So that's their method. We can try something pretty much exactly like that. That should be easy enough for us to do. It's just a matter of finding out what that tape is, or what tape we can use on this thing. I'll of course have to junk this experiment. Oh look, it's already melted. Ugh. That's not good. It's already sticking. I can get this out with a pin tool though. And I'm not gonna touch this shit with my hands. I'm gonna put on gloves. I'm putting on gloves. I don't think there's any reason why I shouldn't be able to do this in gloves, even though the nitrile is probably gonna be subject to melting as well. Gloves. See, if you notice, this thing didn't fall off of the bottom, and that's where it was touching the MEK, so that's a little interesting. I mean, I could use packing tape again if that's going to hold it. That's going to hold it up. Probably we shouldn't be putting this one through it. The good example that we have, I think, is this one, and then the one that I chucked. Trying to be fun. All right, so this is in direct contact with it. Let me just see what the results are. Well, the results are that it's stinky, stinky. Whew, man, it smells like poopies. No, it smells like very strong chemicals. Interesting. What the fuck? Wait a minute. So the parts that were touching the chemical directly are cloudy, and the parts that were in the vapor actually look a little bit shinier than they were. But there's this just area at the bottom there where it just looks weird. Huh. Check this out. So the parts that were touching MEK are down here. This is basically sitting in a little puddle of it. And I guess that's what caused, it's a strange reaction. But then the stuff that was in the air is looking a little smoother than it was before. Yeah, is the rest going to dry out and match the part? Or if this stuff will, because I think this is like, this might be salt. I don't know. I think salt reacts with it. All right, well, let's get a little piece of wire and let's suspend our, this part. Oop, you guys can't see. I'll get a little piece of wire and then we'll suspend this part from the top, from the lid, and we'll see what it does in the presence of vapor. I'll put a little piece of paper towel in there. I'll put a little bit more of the chemical in, seal that up, and we'll leave it for a long time. In the meantime, we'll maybe work on some other stuff, some wiring stuff in here, and we'll see what the results are, whether or not we can get it to look either smooth or if we can get it to just seal. That's the just seal part is the important part. I don't have an easy way to test that. I guess I should have printed up test pieces. That would have been the more engineering way to do it, huh? All right, so let me get a little piece of wire over here. Little piece of wire. Should we use packing tape like they did? I don't know how packing tape is going to fare. What kind of plastic is that stuff? All right, let me get the packing tape and see what it is. I guess I don't have a puppy. She's not hanging out with me. I've been conning her into coming down here and hanging out with me by you know, making a nice, soft, comfortable bed for her. And for the most part, she has been doing that. But Scotch storage packing tape. Oops. Ooh. What do we need to find about a Scotch storage packing tape plastic type? Like if it's PETG, we're SOL. Guaranteed to stay sealed. Holding power, strong seal in all box types. 3.1 mil, globally sourced, clear backing, heavy duty seal. Nobody says the type of plastic though. What type of plastic are you? Extreme sticking power. Huh. I do not know. I do not know. So I guess we'll do what they did. Now the second that I open this thing up, it's going to start reeking. So I guess what I'm going to need to do is do the wiring first. Do the wire thing first. And we're suspending this in there. And I suppose I want to repair ream this thing a little bit. Yes. Just like they make in the Highlands. Packing tape aged in a barrel. I don't think I probably need to do another round of printing for this part, just to get some good clean examples of it. So I have a lot of test pieces. For right now, though, these will do. This is a repair ream. It's just a tapered ream. Really, really, really nice to use on stuff like this because you can round out your holes and make everything nice and pretty. What I'm doing is I'm trying to just get rid of any of the burrs that exist. Although I got to be careful about overdoing it with these because these 1/4 inch fittings are just press fit. And so if they are too loose, then when I go to put the thing in there and I caulk it in place, it'll still be able to be pulled out. And then that'll break the seal, so to speak. I guess we'll just go through one of the legs like that, and I'll just hang it like this. In the chamber. That is a hell of a link. Oh, you found the MSDS. Yes. Material safety data sheet. These things will tell you anything. Good stuff. Good find. Copyright 2021. Product identification numbers. Do we get a... I don't see a product number on this thing. That's all right. I think we're close enough. Recommended use. Tape. Okay. Product is not classified by chemicals. Products refer to section 14. Signal word. Oh, we don't have a safe word. Acrylic adhesive. So it's acrylic. Bonding acrylic with MEK from Reef Addicts. Long delay cure, blah 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 blah. So it does melt acrylic. So we're not in good shape here. I guess for the purposes of what we're doing, like an hour or something will be okay. An hour while exposed to MEK. The acrylic tape will hopefully survive. I don't understand their taping method. What that person did, they like twisted it up, taped it, and then coiled it. It's just silly. It's like way too much. I'll just do my method, which is just to tape it. Yeah, tape to be used as tape. Yes, don't get it wrong. Doing this in rubber gloves is going to be annoying. Sir, please use the tape as tape. Thank you. Stinky. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm all thumbs. Oh my god. Good enough. I think the gloves might be working against me, chat. Try to get it up towards the top of the jar. No, no, I'm permanently part of it now. Help me. Chat, what have you done to me? Good enough. Good enough. Paper towel. The tape is not a snack, despite what cats think. Tape one, bother nothing. Damn it. I'm losing. We're not gonna do what, what's his name? Oh, damn it, what's the guy's name again? Oh, man. I forgot the guy's name all of a sudden. Applied Science did and have a whole washdown machine. Oh, great. That was great. That was just what I needed. Clean that up immediately because it's eating through. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm going to need a new desk mat after today. Look at that. This stuff smells kind of sweet. Smells like gasoline a little bit. All right, I guess whatever. It's too tall. Nope, just right. Make sure it's actually where this thing won't touch. It's twisting the top as I close it. Okay, there. All right, so we just leave that in suspense for a little while. Break a leg. Okay. So the whole point of what we're trying to do is actually to seal the print. So I need to give it a little bit of time in the gas. It shouldn't need a whole lot of I don't think we're gonna need to like mist it or anything like that. It's already looking like the plastic is a little bit moist on the outside. It looks like it is already having an effect on it. So I guess I'm just gonna leave that for a little while and we'll just see what happens. It's gonna be like the melting clocks painting. in like an hour. So, in the meantime, what are we going to do? I don't know. Well, right now my glucose level is going to try to goddamn kill me. I don't know how close to... Ooh, wow. I have just high on this thing. Well, I got to let the insulin peak. Oh, what a shit show. Here, look at this. Look at that. All those carbs just right straight into my belly. All those carbs is probably more than the amount that I gave it. This is embarrassing. That'll come back down, but we got to make sure that it doesn't plateau out there. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye on my my diabetes. I'll probably have to inject more insulin a little later on. All right. The other thing that we could work on is probably the wiring for the control panel itself. Oh, thanks. That's great. Yeah, what a great comment to type. Thanks. Jeez. Fucking asshole. I'll come back down off of that, and then it'll be fine. All right. So, we're melting a 3D print. We got other stuff that we could do here. And mainly that revolves around actually wiring stuff up. Burn the subs is going to consist of lots and lots of wires. Those wires are probably going to mostly be the silicon jacketed ones instead of the ones that I found in the garbage before. The historically burn the subs, the one that's currently... That's not... The camera's not pointing in the right place. Yeah, dude, like... just slow your roll a little bit, man, and, like... take it easy. Also, I'm not actually, like, insulted in any way. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'm streaming. I'm a streamer. I can take it. All right, back over to here. So, burn the subs. This thing consists of wires that I found. This is unacceptable. This sucks. We can get rid of all the limit switches now that we're using the trinamic drivers that we're using. And this is just old speaker wire. So that's not what we're going to use. It's not what I'm going to end up using in the actual project, you know, in the final, this updated project, because we're no longer building this out of garbage. We're building it out of partially garbage, but also a lot of 3D printed stuff. So we've got to find wire that is going to match. And I think I have just the right stuff sitting over here. What fitment is that printed with? I don't know. It fits pretty close. Yeah, the old see-through wire is neat, but at the same time, like when I try to solder it, it turns into soup. So, yeah, I don't know if the plastic that's around that wire is gonna be happy with the methyl alpha ketones. So, easy hookup wire kit, right? These things are simple. They're easy to use. They're silicon jacketed. They can take a lot of current as a result. I don't know if 28's going to be able to carry the current that we want it to for that motor. What kind of current at 24 volts? All right, we need to do some napkin calculations here in order to make sure that what we're putting into this thing doesn't overheat and like burn down the house, burn the place down sub camera. Well, so we're trying to prevent here. We're trying to prevent that. So I guess let's start off with MS Paint. Let's open up a CAD program. Oh yeah, we've already got this drawing. I'm gonna save this and we'll just go new. And I just need this for napkin calculations. So basically we have two motors. Well, let's just start with the one motor. So it would be this, and we do this, and there's a motor. First things first, we need to figure out what this motor is, but then we have 4 wires that are coming all the way back. And since we don't know the distance, we can just put these things in there. We'll just do one of these little slashes that indicate distance. Oh, that's really sloppy. All right, whatever. That goes ways, and then it goes to the controller. We got the controller over here. And that has 24 volts. Through TMC, is it 2208s? I forget. It's an SKR. mini V2. I can't even read that. But all right. How dense does the name to be to let the board catch on fire? It's not a matter of how dense the name is. It's how we aim the laser. And the laser in the instance of Burn the Subs is aimed in such a way as to produce almost no smoke. And as a result, it burns the name pretty deeply. There's nothing even resembling fire on the board. I mean, we get very little smoke. I think maybe we would have to dwell on a singular point for an extended amount of time. And we're going to do something with the look ahead settings that will hopefully keep about the same amount of power on the wood per how it's moving. Like if it's going around a turn, it will be able to put a little bit more power into the laser versus when it's going on a straight line quickly, it'll be able to pull the power away so that it doesn't scorch more on some moves than others. So what we're looking up wire, yeah, I guess gauge chart first. So the one from PowerStream is the good one, and that gives us an amperage through wire. We can calculate out the ohms and stuff. We can be kind of sticklers for this. I'm just gonna overdo it, and this guide isn't like, this is not the word of law. There's a lot that goes into choosing the wires for your project, including, how flexible do I need it to be? How much current is going to actually be there? What'll happen in the case of like a worst case scenario? How is the wire exposed to open air, or is it behind something? Is it enclosed in something? You generally want to like give a lot of wiggle room around stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. You don't need to do an entire senior design project in order to select wire. Just looking at the print right now. It's just looking a little glossy, that's all. We'll keep it in there for a while, though. 80s fabric wire. They still have that in places. Yeah. Some like high voltage stuff still has that like wax, like fabric jacket kind of stuff. The other Lone Star in working in like theater stuff, theater and science museum kind of stuff, actually found wire that was shielded with asbestos, which is always nice. That's always good to find. It's great. Chew on it a little bit. All right, anyway, 28 gauge wire. 28 gauge wire on the chart for, I guess, ohms per 1,000 feet, amps for chassis, and amps for power transmission. So 1.4 amps. They don't really give us a voltage on this chart either. But the 28 gauge wire, we're talking about on the order of an amp. Now 18 gauge, 16 amps. You can actually do that calculation on graphics cards of maybe not the latest ones, but the previous ones. You're like, wait, how many of these wires are carrying current? And if you do 16 times the number of wires, you get within the wattage of the card, the amperage of the card. For some reason, they can't do like 14 gauge or like, wait, why are we, oh yeah. They can't use like different gauge wires in computers for some reason. I don't know. Everything's 18 gauge historically. But yeah, we have 28 gauges. We have 1.5 amps about. So let's see. Stepper motor. It's a NEMA. I don't think it's a 23. NEMA 23 is for the smaller. Yeah, that's for the one axis. This isn't even a NEMA 23, I don't think. Yeah, maybe NEMA 23. Okay, yeah, NEMA 23 is the X-axis motor because it's doubled up. So P series NEMA 23 bipolar blah 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 blah. 1.8 degree angle, 1.26 nanometers, 2.8 amp phase resistance, 0.9. Yeah. Okay, so for the X-axis, we're gonna need larger wires. The NEMA 23 is using up to 3 amps, so. Yeah. I'd like to get like wattage out of this though. Yeah, doing math on stream is always a rough time. It's funny, the wires that I have coming out of the motor when I bought it are not as large. That one has screw terminals. That's pretty wild. Okay, so 28 gauge is out. We can't use that for the big motor. I figure I'm going to use the same gauge of wire for both motors, even though one of them's a NEMA. What is the other type? Stepper motor types. Stepper motor types. I got to look all this stuff up because it's all leaked out of my freaking ear. I have just lost my mind. Yeah, is it 17? 14 is the thin kind. 17 and then 23. Yeah, we've got a 17 and then a 23 on the X. It is a, yeah, it is a 17. Okay. Yeah, we got a NEMA 17 and a NEMA 23. So NEMA 17. I don't have specs on those. We'll just look it up. NEMA 17. These are going to be running at 24 volts too. Rated current 2 amp. So it's safe to say we should have like 4 amps on these motors. Thickness independent of the face size. 3 amps. Chassis, power transmission. I think we're going for power transmission, or sorry, chassis. So we need at a minimum 24 gauge wire to do this. It's not big. 24, at least we're not getting down into like 18 would be annoying to do, but yeah, 17s can differ in amperage between motors. Yeah, and you can kind of punish the motor and stuff. It's not, looking at the amps that they quote on the outside of the motor isn't a great way to get the characteristics of the motor, but it is a good way for me to very haphazardly get an idea of the sizing of the wire that I'm going to need. That's all. That's all. That's the only reason that I'm looking at that stuff. We don't need to completely characterize the motor, and I've already abandoned our napkin calculations. So 28 gauge, I think I have. Let me take a look over here. Why is there a printout right here? Oh, my wires are buried. I have, so all the storage bins that I have sitting over to the side of the shop, that's what I'm looking through right now. There's my RC car project. I missed that thing. All right, so I bought a bunch of wire kits in anticipation of actually working on Burn the Subs. I got a bunch of different types here, but this kit is Electronics Express, and it is a, oh, this one's the 18 gauge. I think 18 is pushing it a little bit, but I'll bring it over. What else do we got here? What are these? These are 22. That's not going to work. I actually might not have a kit of the wire that I need in order to build Burn the Subs. Stream over. Stream forever canceled. I will go live in the woods. That one's 18. We might be forced to use 18 gauge wires, which is pretty standard, to be honest. Yeah, these are all 18s. Okay, well, it looks like we're using 18. If I can tolerate it. And these are silicon jacketed wires. You can push them a little further than the other ones. What's that one? That's like 12 gauge. That's a shotgun. What is that doing here? Yeah, 18. Everything's 18. Haven't seen an Electronics Express store in a while. What is this? Yeah, this is apparently, I don't know, there's a store called that? I just bought this on the friggin' Jeff Bezos Direct. All right, let's see here. Over to there. Looks like roommates are home. That means the puppy can go for a walk. Okay, so how's the 3D print looking? Looks wet. It looks wet, but it doesn't really look like a whole heck of a lot's going on in there. It does look a little wet, though. That might mean that the layers are adhering to one another. Let's see if I can actually show you guys. Get in here close. It just like looks wet. Chains. Oh yeah. So probably not related. Huh. All right. I guess we'll leave it a little longer. I want to make sure that that thing really seals the space in between the layers. So I don't know how we can force the issue anymore. Okay. We're gonna be using JST connectors largely on this thing because of the 3D printer controller. And so I need to be able to have a size of wire that is going to accept the JST crimp nicely. 28, we said 24, 28 can only, yeah, so this can't be done. I could get, oh wait, what's this kit? Wait a minute, I just saw another one. There's one that's hiding. That one right there, it's hiding from me. What are you? Come hither. What are you? This looks like it's a little, this might be pay dirt right here. We'll use 18 gauge wires to hook up the power, but, or possibly larger. 26. We said 25. Oh no. Are we on the, we're right on the edge? Might have to, we might be using right on the edge. So this is 26. 26 is 2.5 amps, but our motors are very haphazardly rated for 3. So we should probably be in the territory of 3.5 and 4, which is 24 and 23. We're all the way up here in 26. Yeah, what's a couple degrees between friends? Uh-oh. Well, I got the 18 gauges right here. That can handle quite a bit of current through it. But they're also fairly thick. They're a little too thick for our purposes. These are actually, wait, these aren't even silicon jacketed. These are just straight up 18 gauge wires. These are kind of bad. I think that's why I ordered all the other kits, because I got this one and I hated it. Make for some spicy noodles. And, you know, that's what I had for lunch, but in this case, I think we'll try it. We're gonna go for these, and we're gonna hope that we don't underdo the amount of copper in this thing. Now for the motors, I've seen stepper motors where the phases are twisted. I don't know if we're really gonna do that for the stepper motors and burn the subs. And in order to get those wired out on the board itself, I would have to figure out what the lengths are. So I guess at some point soon, I'll take the table away from the wall, and that'll function as a bench that I can sit on in order for us to make the wires that go out to the various locations on the board. We need a wire that goes from the control, well, basically it's all from the DB connector, but we need the 2 motors, which are 8 wires, and then we need the lights, 12 volts, and obviously ground. So lights, 12 volt, ground. This would be lights active, 12 volts, ground. The 2 motors we'll put in lights, ground. I already said ground. God damn, my brain is all over the place right now. Lights, 12 volts, ground, activation signal for the laser, and the stepper motors. So 12 pins. So the 12 pins over here, and those got to go all the way out to the end of the gantry. And the lighting has got to make a couple stops along the way. Because I've got the lights at the top of the gantry, and then I've got the lights on the axis itself. Do we do anything with the smoke? We don't. We're not doing anything with the smoke. The laser doesn't have a focusing element on it, like an electronic focusing element on it. What else? Hard pressed to think of anything else, because we're not doing limit switches. The limit switches are now going to be just when the motor stalls up against the edge. So we'll pull it up to 0, 0. That just means the axis is just going to crash. We'll probably make bump stops for the axes to crash into as well. Yes, okay. These are JSTs. Is that correct? Let's get the kit of JSTs out, and I'll give it a shot. See what we get. See what we got going on here. Right now, really, my priority is sealing this 3D print so that we can, so that I know that everything's good and I can start working on some of the stuff, start working on all the other facets of this project. This has got a lot going on. So yeah, how is this going down? These are JSTs. Okay, good. All right, so we need to wire up the motors to the DB connector. And so we got 2 motors, and we got our DB connector over here. So if I can just get this out of here, then we can start working on that. What is that distance going to be? I got to figure out where the wires are going. If we're going to have like a loom in a certain area. I should have made like cable trays for this. Make it real organized like that. Because you got to go from the top of this board over here through the hole, down, and then into this connector. And I've got these plastic wire loops that I can use to hold the entire wire loom somewhere. I guess possibly on this inner edge, which is going to be impossible for me to get a fastener into by virtue of the fact that it's blocked up here, the rail that I would need to use. I guess I can do... Well, I can't come in from there, and I can't come in from the back side either. I might be able to do the back side. I guess if there's already a bolt there, I can double it up with this and have something that holds it there. Yeah, that'll probably be good. Okay, so let me get the DB connector out of here. And since the DB connector is stored inside of the thing, that means that we can do the full wires. We can make it all out here, and then I can install it. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, sure, indeed. I'm going to have to get water soon, too, because I'm super hyperglycemic at the moment. My glycemic index is off the charts. Got sugar coursing through my frickin' veins. All right, drop that down there. All right, so we got to figure out what pins are going to be what, and I guess I could just start wiring, you know? I guess that's just how that's going to work. Start from pin 1 and make 1 through 8 be motors. So that means the entire top row is dedicated to motors, and then the bottom row would be other stuff. This is a DB16 connector. Like I said before, I believe that the DB connector is going to be around longer than anyone really can fathom. Oh, I don't have black wire. Okay. All right, we've got to work around that. I guess the wires are just going to be multiple crazy colors for all of them. So we'll just do everything but red on this one. I don't have any black wire. That's going to be a little difficult to work around, especially when it comes to wiring. Well, when I wire power, I guess I can use the larger wire. I can use this stuff. All right, so these 4 are going to be one of our motors. And I can actually put an axis label on that when the time comes. So we're going from top of this board, so over here. There's not a lot of room for wire to kind of exist there, is there? And I got a lot of stuff that needs to plug in right there, too. I didn't really think about this. I didn't think this through, chat. I don't think I thought this through. Look at this. Like, all the Raspberry Pi connections have to happen here and go off to wherever they go off to. And I could do that under the board, too, if I really need to. And then my motors, I've got 2 of my motors here, too. I guess X and Y, we'll be using these 2, and then these can just hang out. Figure out something to do with them later. But those 2, I guess I'll have to sneak up and over there. That's going to be an odd one. So if I take this wire and I feed it into where the DB connector goes... Whoa, that was really, really shaky. Why is this camera like vibrating like that? Look at that. Weird. Very vibrating camera today. All right, feed him in there. Catch him on the... Oh, my MEK. Put that over there. Ah, it got some on my finger. I'm going to die. I thought I closed this thing. It did. Why is it leaking out of the cap? What the hell? Is it like melting the cap? What's happening here? I don't want this stuff getting on my hand. Gotta wash myself off. I guess as long as it's not an extended exposure to the stuff. But man, I don't want to deal with the repercussions of the forces that I'm dealing with. The horrible chemicals that I'm dealing with at the moment. Ah, man, that made everything smell weird. Smells like bad food and like acetone. It's like if you dipped your food in acetone. All right, so one of the motor connections here, and I'm just going to get that length right by bringing this up, and what just fell to the ground? Something I need. Probably something I need falling to the ground, like usual. All right, so one end of the wire's like this, a little bit of slack, and then that goes here. So I need enough wire for that to just be loose, like this, like that, and then over. So I think this length that I got here is good. The one on top of the mat to the left. Top of the mat. The one that's right there. That's the laser that I'm going to use, yeah. That it is. That is it. Just trying to get these to be two length. Two of them are a little short. All right, and then I'll sneak my hands back a little bit to give myself just a little bit more slack in the wires, because I have a feeling these aren't going to be so easy to create. So that's one of them. I'm going to need another one that's about the same length. So I'll need two of these because they plug into just about the same spot, right? Because we need them both to go from here to there. So that's not a terribly large jump for it to make. We'll have to figure out how the what do you call it? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, yeah, so those are the letters I need to use in order to describe what I'm talking about. Need to figure out how we're going to wire the laser and the lights. Those are things that we can control as just pins of the microcontroller through Clipper. So as long as we have those connections in there, we can specify what GPIO is running what. So when the axis starts moving, I can have it send the positive signal out of one of these things. But that might be done at 3 volts. I may need to go through a transistor. So there's two on here. One of them is for they're both for the heating elements in the 3D printer. But I got to see what their outputs are, because we might be able to utilize those. We do have a TTL output for controlling the laser, though. TTL output, 5 volts. I don't know if it's 3 volt compatible. If it is, that means we can probably use one of the just generic GPIOs. I could just have a connector on there that I tell it, hey, use this pin for that. All right, so crimping wires. I bought this crimper a while back. It does pretty well with the JSTs. The silicon jacketed wires, however, will fight this. Basically, the name of the game is that we need to strip off the tip of the wire, twist the strands at the end so that they stay together. Then we need to get that seated just right in the crimp, and that's the hard part, because I don't exactly have a way to view into what's going on here. Probably by now, I should have come up with some kind of a helper mechanism for this so that it would be a little bit less of a pain in my ass. But live and learn. I guess we're still here. I'm still doing this the same way. So we're going to do all these crimps, and then we'll check in on our 3D print over there. So I need to make the 2 wires that are going to plug this thing in, and then we can solder them to the DB connector. And I guess I should use shrink wrap on the DB connector. The way that I measure the amount of wire that comes out of the tip of these is to put it to the height of the stripper. That's just apparently has worked with the JST connecting kit as long as I've had it. But it's not really a very scientific measurement. If I knew that I'd be doing this as much as I have, I probably should have come up with some method of doing this precisely the same way every time. The height of the stripper matters. Context. Gotta love context. Good old-fashioned context. So I'm getting excited for the game that I'm going to go through with a friend next, which is the Cursed Edition of Halo. My only regret, aside from the bonitis, is that the D20 grenade does not work in multiplayer. And I don't know if anything's been done about that, or if that's still the case, but I'm getting excited for some Cursed Halo. I think that'll be a fun time. Inferno Plus does a good job. It harkens back to like the Unreal Tournament and like Marathon even days where you would be like, oh yeah, mods. You'd look them up and you'd be like, this grenade turns into 17 grenades. That was like the best time. Just breaking an early 2000s game engine as you go. This is what I walk into. Yeah. Welcome to Saturday. Welcome to Saturday stream. All right, so those all have a little bit of wire exposed. I need to move my video monitor to the right side so that I can see what the hell's going on. And at some point, I got to check my glucose level. I think I hear other people are home, so I don't have to check on the dog. She's welcome to come down here and say hi, but she just hasn't. I can't get any of these out of here. Remember my tweezers. So they sell machines that will do like the wire crimping automatically. They're like thousands of dollars. They're meant to be sold to factories. Those are the ones that use these things when they're on the metal strip, and then it has, you know, things to move the metal strip and to load up your crimper just right. We don't have that ability. So what I have to do in order to crimp these properly is, first off, I need to grab one of the, you can see my, ooh, that's where the MEK touched me. It's all dry. Anyway, I take the crimper in my giant hands, or the crimp rather, press on it just a little bit. That's gonna make that little cup a little bit more narrow. What that does is it allows it to actually fall within the crimple. It'll fall within the press of the crimp so that it properly crimps, right? These will curl in and actually pierce the jacket of the wire, which I don't want them to do. I have no choice about that though, unless I use the round crimp, but I think the round crimp is better for larger wires. There's a couple different crimps on this crimper. We might be in the territory of using the number 3. We might be using number 3. Number 1 and 2, you can see that on the top here, it'll curl the wire back, or curl the crimp back into itself. Really, with 1 and 2, you would like that to make a full curl, because it's only supposed to press up against the jacket. It's not supposed to pierce it. It will, however, pierce it if I use like number 1 on this thing. Number 3 is nice and rounded, so I would like very much to use that crimp. That is more the size if I was using 18 gauge wires though. But I think that'll work out. I think we've done that in the past before, so I'll use a number 3 on it. The only problem with this crimp, you can load this crimper. You can load the crimp up into this and start it, right? You can get it to put pressure on and start to flex the metal on this crimp and hold on to it, but then it's a guessing game for how far this thing should go into it. I've had times where this has gone so far in that it has crimped all of like the silicone jacket and yeah, it's been like this, right? And that's not good. That's not going to make good that is not going to conduct well. You want it this far in. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll start the crimp a little bit and then push this wire in until it actually hits up against that second little set of wings. That doesn't really work either though. I've had a lot of trouble making this thing work out. I think what I need to do is take this in my hand, Ocean Man, and I need to put this up to a distance, and now that I've got that, I'm holding on to it at that distance, I can put it in that far and then crimp it. So if I hold this to the point where the metal of the wire, or sorry, the jacket goes right up to that seam, the seam between the two plates of metal, then I think I'm in good shape. I really should have like a pin on this end that I can hold this thing with. I need to do, okay, so I'm going to start it off first. And that requires me to put this thing on the little swoop there, close it to where it starts latching. This is a pain in the butt, huh? There you go. Oh, there. Now I can position it a little bit more finely. All right. I have to do this like 1,000 times, don't I? Get one little click. That goes to there. I wish I could do this quickly. All right, and then what did I get on the other side? That is not correct. I messed up. Look at the jacket goes all the way in, and the part that's supposed to crimp the around the jacket is just completely destroyed it. So we got to try that again. What you making? This is Burn the Subs. This is my automated laser powered XY etching table, quote unquote table, that runs this machine. It's a wall mounted slab of wood that we're going to hook up to the Twitch API. We're going to make a word cloud of subscriber names live as people subscribe. So we've got 2 other versions of the board that have already completed in years past. This one is going to be an improvement on just about every little thing that I've wanted to improve on the board. It's not I already have the next version in my head, but yeah, this is going to be an improvement on things like the presentation of the actual control panel, the organization of things. The wiring is no longer going to be speaker wires that I happen to have left over from other stuff. Everything's just that much more, it has that much more of a bow tied around it, I guess, so to speak. Right now, I'm failing miserably, as I normally do, at crimping. This is bad. I'm usually better at this. Are there compression connectors for this gauge and wire? I don't know. I mean, they make anything for anything these days. Okay, there. Now it is definitely going to go on the round crimp and not the completely wrong one. This is a blue light laser. This is not your professional cutting laser. No, indeed. This thing is designed specifically, very specifically, to be cool looking. We have the rule of cool around here. All right, I think that's in. Try it. It'd be nice to have a function. I fucked it up. What even happened to this? Okay, this keeps screwing them up. I don't know what's going on here. That thing should be... Oh. Yeah, I guess it's too deep for this crimp, this style of crimp or something. No, we've done this before. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't... What's wrong with me? It's because I'm massively hyperglycemic today. Ugh, usually I got a better handle on these things, but I ate lunch very quickly. I'm gonna keep trying to get this right. This wire is gonna be massively shorter than all the rest, though, at this point. I just need something that'll better position all this stuff as I work with it. But like for some reason, this thing hasn't been sunk in there far enough. Usually I'll put the crimp in and then I'll pull it backwards so that the longer jacket crimps will hit up against the difference between the 2 plates. For some reason that's not happening. I also need a much better way to grip these things because that's not working out for me. Now, instead of gripping them with something like tweezers like I am right now, I could actually just take a pin and use that. I never got around to buying a CO2 laser, like a proper one. All right, so it looks like I can't even use that. Yeah, it looks like I can't even use I can't use the rounded one. These are too short. In order to get that to press in on it, it would crush the entire connector. So that's why we haven't used it, I guess. So anyway, pinch, then place. It's crooked. It's sideways. It's sideways. Abort, abort. Yeah, I need like a long pin to hold this. Let's see what I got in my pin collections. Alligator clip. I find alligator clips to be more destructive to anything than like this. Hold on one sec. I gotta put a bin somewhere, and I don't have any open space. I'm like flailing around like a weirdo. Alligator clips I find to destroy things more often than actually helping. But that again, that's just me. Everybody's got different preferences out there. It's a big world. But for me, when the times that I've tried to use alligator pins, it'll just eat whatever I'm trying to connect to. Especially holding circuit boards. You know, people love that little posing alligator clip thing with the magnifying glass on it. God, those things have been pervasive in this hobby for centuries, and I don't like them. I don't like them. Not a big fan. All right, see, I can hold on to it like that, just with a pin header pin. And that can help me get this on there more precisely. And then I gotta pull it forward so that the little tab is right up against the crimp. And that should get all the distances correct, assuming it doesn't do what it's doing right now. God damn it. Half of the time that I'm working on projects like this, it's all crimping wires. The steering wheel is like all crimping wires at one point. And away it goes. Let's see if I can move this thing a little bit and I can show you guys what I'm struggling with, because it's hard for me to get like a good overview view and have you guys see all the little tiny fine work that I'm doing with the wire crimping, and that's why this stuff is so complicated. At this point, it probably would have been a good idea for me to just spend thousands of dollars on a machine that you just poke a wire into, and it just puts a JST connector on the end of it. It looks like I've also damaged the JST connector, so I got to use a different one. Because when I do the square pin, this thing twisted, and it might have damaged its ability to connect. Oop. Actually, it looks okay. I don't know. Crimper's going on the naughty list. Something like that. I've had so many struggles with these crimpers, and I've even tried to look up people like teaching how to do it properly, but nobody has answers for me. I think everything I'm doing is correct. It's just very fiddly. Is this the right side of the crimper, by the way? Yeah. Okay. Because some people make things like that position everything in order to help them do the job. That sure would be nice if I could turn it into like a flat press and have stuff that like controls the distances things go in. We should think about that. We should try to figure out how to build a crimping jig, just something where I can pull a bunch of levers. What you doing? Crimping a jig. He was so excited that day. He was crimping a jig. Why does account get banned? Oh, he was crimping a jig. We have the best crimper. Yeah, what do you guys, I mentioned you earlier, by the way, Lone Star. We were talking about the jacket of the wire that I used to hang this thing in the MEK deteriorating. And so people were talking about like the fabric wires from the 1980s. And I was like, the other Lone Star ran into stuff that's even worse than you would ever possibly imagine. The asbestos wire jackets. This is as close to perfect as I'm willing to accept, except for one thing. It grabs the pin with a thingy and then just lines it up. Yeah, see, I need that. That's what I was talking about. Make it a jig to get all the distances correct. Now this is almost pornography. This would be more pornographic if I had a little bit more of the silicone sticking out of the front of the crimp. It's still sitting in the lightning storage? What? Oh, the asbestos? That seems not good. That seems less than ideal. Yeah, so what I basically want to happen with the crimps is almost what happened here, but I would like to see a little bit more silicone rubber sticking out of the front, because that way it bulgy-wolgies out. God, I'm never going to say that again. It bulges out a little bit, and it grips. Like the most important part, in my mind, aside from the electrical connection right here, is that when you bend this wire, it's not going to bend the metal directly. It's going to bend the silicon jacket. That's the important part. You know, the 600-pound gorilla is going to pull on the wire by the jacket in order to unplug the connector. You need to make sure that doesn't happen. That instantly came out of there. What the fuck? Like, that should not have happened. That was terrible. Why? And that's what I mean. Like, that probably wouldn't have happened if this was a little bit further up. Generally, what you're trying to have happen here is that these little strands get caught under the wings that get pressed down, and those get pressed down to the point where it actually makes kind of a cold weld. Yeah, I'm having a lot of I always have a lot of trouble crimping these. I mean, they're not easy to do, and I've got a lot of lines to crimp. That's what I'm talking about, like building a jig that'll help me do that. It's either build a jig or I do this off camera for the rest of my life, essentially. My Saturday night, and I'm going to spend it here just crimping. Just crimping. I've gotten too much content from crimping. Flatulent Gonad knows. This is too much crimping content. I know you guys are cool to hang out, and I appreciate that very greatly, but I can't be a crimping channel. Hey guys, welcome to my crimping channel. It's your boy. So today we're going to be crimping some wires together, and I'm going to be using my standard crimp. Like, comment, and subscribe. I know a lot of you guys supported me last time. Mr. Crimp, new channel name. I just, look what they've done to my boy. Do I need to get new wire? Do I need to get slightly thicker wire? This stuff isn't thick as a bowl of oatmeal, I'll give you that much. Larger size, then smaller to finish. Well, but then it's going to slip off on the larger size. No, the smallest one should be making more of contact with the metal. I shouldn't be able to just pop it out the way that I did. That wasn't a lot of force. Building an LED display, and I've hit the need a jig stage. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about this too. That's how I always feel about these silicon jacketed wires in this thing. Plus, if I were to crimp it a little bit further in so that the crimp hit this thing and it bulged out on the other side, then it would be much harder to pull the wire out of it. I just did the exact same kind of crimp twice. Have you heard the Mighty Boosh version of crimping? It's halfway between weird poetry and rap. I'm wondering, I think people have told me about, I think I've seen it. It's in the back, like, I got a weird memory of it. The crimper we have is for pins for things like DB9. One thing that I was saying earlier is that in my mind, the DB connector is going to be with mankind for a long time. It's one of those things. It's like the flathead screwdriver, the hardware store flathead screwdriver. There will be people who live and work in space, and they will have this in their tool bag, right? like the year will be an absurd string of characters, and we will still be plugging things in with the DB connector because it is a human-sized thing. It is, and what do I mean by that? That's kind of a weird way of describing it. It's like everything's built for humans. Well, like surface mount electronics and crimpers and things like that. This stuff that I'm doing, it's not really meant for a person. It's like more meant for like a robot to put together, and it gets a little fiddly for us to work on it. Stuff like DB connectors, they carry tons of current. They are large enough that we can solder them very easily, and they're extremely versatile, and they make good contact. So I have this odd feeling that the DB connector is going to be with us for a long time. Like if you want to future-proof a device, use a DB connector. Even though they are obsolete in terms of what we're doing with computers, they are still used throughout Gestures Wildly at everything. I have a MIDI setup for one of my hobbies, and it uses the same cables the C64 used for floppy drive. Floppy drives? I am of an era where it was the joystick / MIDI cable. You could choose between having a joystick and having a MIDI setup. And I guess back in the day, those pins actually were just the analog. They were basically connected directly to the potentiometers of the joystick, which is pretty cool. I too am in the 5-pin DIN Forever Club. Mighty Guitar Rack. Yeah, MIDI is cool. MIDI's fun to play with. Even though MIDI is so obsolete and doesn't really do its job very well sometimes. I saw a Chemical Brothers show at the Trocadero. No, the Electric Factory. Chemical Brothers at the Electric Factory, and during their performance, a note ended up sticking. Was it Chemical? Yeah, it wasn't. Was it Crystal Method, actually? It might have been Crystal Method. Anyway, EDM artists aside, what happened was the note stuck, and they couldn't get it unstuck. So they flooded that side of the stage with smoke, and a tech came out and started like banging on the keyboard to try to get it to unstick the note. He ended up having to unplug it and plug it back in to get it working during the concert. This one is actually pretty close to being ideal of what I'm going for. I would prefer if the crimp around the jacket were circular and did not break the jacket. But having a little bit of material to the left of it here will keep it from being pull-outable, and there should be a decent amount of electrical connection being made there, although I would have liked that to be a little tighter. I can't really control that. I have the tools that I have, so I got to deal with that. We got to work within that system. The other part that I don't like about the way that this crimper works is that these ends are just a little bit too wide. You can see how it flares out at the end there. That's a little too wide, and so I'm going to have to squish it with a pair of pliers in order to get it to fit into the JST connector. Now, we didn't lose that much material, but we did lose a little bit on this wire, so that's going to cause some unevenness. What I do is I use the wire stripper pliers, and I just give it a little squeeze right there, and that's it. These things are good. They're Italian made. They've got the small gauge sizes. They can cut just about anything. And then they've got these flat front jaws that I use for almost everything other than stripping wires. These are actually a good pair of needle nose pliers in my shop. How much did we lose? Not that much. Yeah, that comes out with a wash. That shouldn't matter. And remember, when I was sizing up the wire, I did sort of a loose wire run, and then I snuck my hand back by about 1/2 inch, and then I cut. All these little things that I have to explain to you guys because I do them sort of intuitively. How are we looking in here? I don't really look like this is like melting at all. Initially it looked wet, but I don't know. Likely ban evader restricted, and I can't. Okay, what is this? Chat GPT electronics. I don't think I want that. Hey everyone, I just finished building my new PC and it's running smoothly thanks to all the helpful tips and tricks I learned from this channel. Can't wait to see what other DIY projects and electronics tutorials are in store for the future. Keep up the great work, hashtag electronics DIY. Yeah, look at this. That right there. Chat GPT electronics. Hey everyone. Wow, you built your computer thanks to the advice of this channel. We don't do computers here. We don't really do. Did you build like, you use a Raspberry Pi? Totally not suspicious. Yeah, I wonder what GPT stands for. Huh. That's a weird one. Hey, haha, ban. Bye. You can talk to a mod if you're a human being. They'll unban you. Or you can message me on Discord. So, I mean, with a job like this, what we're trying to do is get signals from one end to the other on a thing that we've never built before that we don't really know much about. Basically, all I'm doing is sort of getting everything within the ballpark. We're playing horseshoes here and hand grenades at the same time. It's a fun game. But what we're trying to do is get close. And we're trying to get close on the safe side of things. We don't want fires. We don't actually, we're not trying to get close. We're just trying to ballpark that we're safe, right? So we don't want to get close. We want to get far from it. We don't want to be too far from it because we don't want to be prohibitively far from, you know, the current rating of the wire. We would like the wire to be minimalistic and flexible, right? And it won't be that if we size it exactly. I'm debating about whether or not I want to actually put stuff around the wire for the long runs. Like put a piece of curly, I think I probably do, because if I need to extract one singular motor's wire, it'll be better if I have one thing to pull on. So, you don't build computers? Not on this. But yeah, anyway, if that was, if your likely ban evader status was I'm looking for words. I'm not finding words in my head. What's going on, Jess? Jeez, get your fucking head together today. God damn, you're up here in front of like 1,000 fucking people. You got 1,200 viewers right now. You got 1,600. You got 258,000 viewers right now. It's Jesus Christ. Get your fucking head together. Anyway, yeah. If we banned you and you're a human being and you feel that you were wronged, or even you feel like you just want to start chatting again, just let me know. You can pop on Discord, or you can talk to a moderator, but my moderators are stricter than I am. Usually I am of a mind of give them just enough rope to hang themselves, right? Even though that's pretty grim. That's pretty grim. If you're giving people rope and the thought is that they're going to hang themselves, like, that's a rough deal, bud. Maybe you shouldn't give them rope. That's pretty raw, you know? That one did perfectly. How come it is when I don't think about it, it works perfectly? New to the channel, ban. What are you building? Oh, man. That's happened every couple minutes now. This is burn the subs. So the thought was, people got whiteboards that they're putting subs on it. Because you're thinking about it. People only give them 6. No, people are very creative, Gonad. I hate to burst that bubble. People are very creative. Okay, so anyway, What am I talking about? So, what is this? Well, the thought occurred to me while we were sort of pontificating about electronics and projects that I was working on this channel and parts that I had sitting around. The thought was, well, I'm not going to do this like automated machining thing that I thought I was going to do. And so I've got this stepper motor controller that's really actually designed to do an XY for a laser table. And I thought, you know, I want to do more interactive stuff on Twitch. This is a long time. This is a long time ago. We were having this conversation on stream, and I basically was thinking, hey, you know, people shake they asses on Twitch and write down the names of subs. What if I did that with a laser? I was like, that would be pretty cool. I could put a laser board up on my wall and have a big block of wood, because Twitch names are hilarious. They got some really fucking weird stuff out there, right? And it would be cool if that weird stuff went on something that was classy and semi-permanent. And so basically what came from that is a very large XY table on my wall that is plugged into the Twitch API, so that if a subscriber rolls in, sorry, if somebody subscribes to the channel, okay, that was cool. Thank you, Stomach. Appreciate you weighing in on that topic. Somebody subscribes to my channel, their name goes into a Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi figures out where that name should go, and then it starts burning it with a blue laser. And then I get to, if the name's horrible, I get to put the kibosh on it, possibly. But yeah, basically Twitch is going to censor the board, and it's going to make a huge word cloud of names. Now, we did that a long time ago, and I've filled 2 of the previous boards. So it was time to do more of an overhaul. This is the 3rd version of Burn the Subs, and the 3rd version is incorporating quite a bit more 3D printed solids than its predecessors. In addition to that, I'm putting my best foot forward in terms of the technology that's going into this project. So best foot forward, all the good stuff, a nice laser, water cooling it, water cooling the laser. These are coming out perfectly now that I'm talking to you guys about stuff while I'm doing it. And that's where we are. So we're in the middle of that. We've been working on it for quite some time now. It's been an entire pandemic, actually. So I need to get the ball rolling on a lot of this stuff. So that's why we're sitting here and we're doing it right now. The things that we're working on right now are we are exposing a 3D print to methyl ethyl ketones. What that should do is with the PETG, it's going to seal the layers between the plastic. The PETG, while it can create very nice and even machine washable and sterile solids, those solids are made up of basically stuff that my 3D printer shat out of a nozzle. And so the interstitial space between those layers, water can get through. So does it work well with PETG? We're finding out right now. This has been maybe 35 minutes in there. It might have been longer than that, but I'm thinking it might need multiple hours. It made the PETG look a little bit wet, which means it is doing something. And so I'd like to give it plenty of time to actually seal everything in there. Right now, we are making the motor wires, and I don't know whether or not I need to shield these. We basically need 4 wires to go to each motor, and those will go to a DB connector that'll be on the control box so that I can unplug the control box and move it, or I can unplug the board and mess around with stuff, you know, whatever I need to do. We were able to get a nice small DB connector in here because we don't need axis stop switches anymore. There is a stall stop that exists within this controller. The only thing that I'm concerned with is that stall stop clipper doesn't like to monitor it on off times. It very specifically monitors it only at certain times. And I don't really like that. I would rather it be a nice emergency stop. That might be within the way we configure clipper, though. That might be on us to actually make it work. Ironing every layer is an option. Takes forever with no layer gaps. Oh, that's an interesting one. And I mean, that's not a huge print. So ironing that might be a good idea. I heard that on PLA it doesn't well. PETG and MEK is what I had heard. That's what people said. But man, this stuff is nasty. I had a little tiny spill of it and it like took away all the markings on my bench. My 1-inch squares, they're supposed to give everybody a sense of scale, and you killed them. What order do we do? I don't know. Let's just do it. Whatever we do consistently. So yeah, these will just fit into these connectors. And those will make our motor wires. I'll have to double check the length too. But what I can do on these is I can put a marker on them. I don't know if I need it here. Maybe I need it on the big guy, on the big board. But I have in one of my things I have little X and Y labels that I can put on these. No inch square. Why don't you leave the jokes to me? Maybe when I'm feeling when I'm feeling like I have a little bit more blood in my sugar stream, I'll be making fun of your jokes. It's a wire cutter, and it doesn't even cut wires. There it goes. Okay, that's one of our connections. Let's do the other one. Yeah, it seems like when I'm actually talking to you guys and I'm not really paying attention and just doing the depth by feel, that's working out for me somehow. I don't know why that works that way. The only problem with this is that in order to test that 3D print to figure out whether or not it's making a water seal, I should probably just make a test print that I can seal up quickly, because there's a lot of prep work that I need to do now in order to test that structure. I need to get the caulk out. I probably need to buy more actually, and I need to seal up all the external connections. I know. But I don't use them. I mean, I use it to cut a lot of different types of wires. It just doesn't like to cut these. Oh, that one looks terrible. Well, it is in there, though. It is in there. I guess I can't complain about that. number of things that I get away with these wire cutters is it exceeds the criticisms that I have of it. These are all out of order. Everything in this bin is a mess. This bin is a complete mess. Should be embarrassed, but I just can't be. Yeah, you get these tools that you can forgive all their shortcomings because the some things that they do are very functional. I really could use, I should have invented some kind of a setup for doing this though. It'd be better if I had something I could like clamp this in. There are silicon wire strippers, by the way. It's much hotter than the normal wire stripper. I have a wire stripper that's a little plate, and you just insert the wire, twist, and pull. So I could use that in order to get the distance of the metal just right. And then if I had something that I could put this down into and clamp, and then it would just crunch this down. Like, you know, put that crimper on a thing that I would then place so that it would get the distance just right. And then this all would be held together, and then I just press this down and be done. And it would be just the right distance every single time. That would be worth its weight in myrrh. But I need to invent that because apparently you can't really buy that. And if you do buy that, you're out thousands of dollars because they're for factories and not schlubs like us. Does kind of sound like a 3D print, doesn't it? It actually sounds like something that should already exist. Let me get through these two and then we'll look it up. Once I've done all the crimping, once I've done all the crimping, we'll look up something that'll make the crimping easier. Sounds about right. Is that too far in? Nope. The little clip that holds this thing into the socket is what I'm using to get the distance right. Oh no, this doesn't feel right. No, that worked. That one worked. That was doing work. Last one of these. Now, should we do top row as the motors, or should I just bunch them up? There's 8 and then 7, I think, in terms of the DB15? Yeah, DB15. It's not DB16. So there's 8 and then 7 wires on the 2 rows. If I bunch them up, that means all the noisy motor signals will be in one spot, and I would have a better time of doing the wire runs and stuff. Yeah, we'll bunch them up. I'll bunch them up. Of course, with the DB connector, pins 1 through 8 are that top row. So it's going to be like pin 1, pin 16, pin 2, pin 12. All right, there we go. Give it a little pinchy, a little squishy. A pinch, maybe little pinch. There we go. And then one of these guys. And then, just to be consistent, blue, yellow, white. I was saying earlier today that, man, I am not going to have friends over, 2 friends over that aren't involved in the project is kind of cancer. I had Julian and I think it's Dave, Julian and Dave here one time, and they were actually engaged in the project that I was working. So it was actually fine to have them both here. But those 2 chuckle fucks we had yesterday were just having their own side conversation when I had brought them to the mixer and I said, this is how you talk to me. And you listen here and you talk there and you don't say stupid shit. And they were saying stupid shit behind my back in their own little side conversation that I heard. And I was like, get out of my shop. I'm not getting them both back here. Individually, they're fine. We've done games with Andrew before, but not together. Not again. I was a little disappointed in that yesterday. Okay, we've crimpled these two things, so that's all good. I will need to, of course, jot down what the identity of all this stuff is as we work with it. I can cut this to length in a minute. I just want to look up and see whether Thingiverse has something that's going to help me crimp wires. So let's just look at Thingiverse real quick. Because it would be kind of interesting if I could just 3D print something. You know, like I could design something and then I would have to open up Fusion 360 and go through all the rigmarole. But let's see if it's as easy as like wire crimp. That is wow. That is the least functional search I've had in a while. Molex crimp tool adapter. Okay, so the Molexes, like these are the easy ones, but this is essentially the philosophy behind it. And actually, some of these crimp tools do have mounting locations for stuff like this. This is pretty much getting to what we were talking about. What the heck is that? Why would? Oh, does that go? Oh, that holds the pin. Weird. I need a little bit more than that. But that's close. Radiator bleed screw. It doesn't seem like something that I want. So what do they call that? Crimp tool adapter. So maybe JST crimp. That's not. No. 3D printer stuff. Oh, somebody made a 3D printable crimp housing. Neat. Probably not that good. Let's be honest. It's not like we need to save money. They're pretty cheap. You get $15, you can get a whole kit. More. So crimp tool adapter. Crimp tool adapter. Crimp tool adapter. Go. That'd be great if you could make a DeWalt thing. DeWalt 20V Max to Ryobi. Oh, I love it. I love it. They have them? Well, where you put the battery pack in there and it auto does everything? DuPont crimping tool. I'll tell you something right now. You do not need helpers with DuPonts. DuPonts are so easy to crimp. They're so easy. They do. Oh, man. See, I just got the thing that you plug your battery into that does your tire pressure, which is just amazing. I feel like we'd have to make something for this. Someone came up with it when people were modding Power Wheels? Huh. That's cool. Battery adapter. I'm just finding like every type of adapter on Thingiverse right now. Digicomp I Redux. What? Huh? Is this some kind of a game? This thing is my tribute to individuals from the 50s and 60s that helped promote computer learning. Computer learning. The computers are learning, guys. By marketing simple electrical mechanical computing devices, while not what we consider true computers by today's standards, these machines were ingeniously designed, shipped with well-written instructive manuals. That's a weird place to put instructive. Instruction manual, whatever. And most importantly, were affordable to the average person. Lately, I've been making replicas of some of these classic computers. Originals are now rare and very expensive to buy, and they frequently appear for sale on eBay. In fact, most of my replicas were modeled from photos because I could not find or afford the originals. Tasting is a little different. It's a brand new machine that is a mashup of the classics. I never knew these things existed. I guess this is how they're bits and ones and zeros into registers or something. That's kind of cool. I had no idea. Digicomp 1. Why did that come up? Why did that come up in the search? Weird. Man, there's a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff out there, huh? All right, I don't see nothing. Crimp. Just crimp. All right, that's neat. Yeah, it looks like just like a couple things exist, and they're basically doing it in exactly the way that we would be considering doing it. What is this one? Hey, it's the PA09. I have that one. Crimp terminal support. Avoid bending the Molex Microfit 3.0 terminal during crimping. Ah, yeah, I got the Engineer 09. Look at that. They got so mad at their crimper that they made a tool to keep it from bending crimps. Pretty cool. Yeah, this tool comes out when it's difficult to, like when we don't have the model specific crimp for the thing. I have to bring out the Engineer PA09. And this thing is notorious because you can over crimp stuff with it and it will cause it to fold. So I guess they made a tool that keeps you from folding it. Actually, this one is a little bit easier to use, even though you have to do 2 operations. You can get the wire length perfect every time. But the crimper holds on to the stuff after you're done crimping it, and you have to kind of rock it back and forth in order to pop it out. Oh, I see. Power wheel adapter for DeWalt 20 volt. That's kind of cool. Huh. That probably makes it a much more fun to use thing too. Crimp tool holder, jaw holder for the TH200 crimp tool. What's so special? The TH200 appears to have a lot of accessories. Oh, it looks like a good crimper. I don't need another crimper. I got too many of them. It kind of seems like something that we would need to engineer. We would need to engineer like the JST tool to help sort of get these crimps to be more consistent. Ooh, somebody needs to send this to that engineer that put the reset button on the router just the wrong spot. That's cool though. This is the repair wires that have the broken tab. I actually kind of want this. I'm gonna download that because that might be useful to me in the future. There's a couple that I probably should print that out for. That's too much work. What is that? Mini DuPont crimper. You don't need DuPont DuPonts are so easy. So easy. Basic plier, no. Yeah, it doesn't look like our application is so specific that I don't think we're really gonna find anything specifically for the JSTs and getting all the distances correct. DuPont crimper guillotine. Oh, upgrade your thing. Crimping pliers jaw adapter. Nah, don't need a jaw adapter. Okay, the plastic finger. Kickstart hand finger. I mean, if that's for like actual prosthetics, that's pretty awesome. Prosthetics are expensive. They're wildly expensive. What else do we got? Crimping tool jaws. Dynamic shoulder rotator cuff educational model. Neat. Why are these coming up in the search? Those are just 3D models. What the hell? IKEA Scatus JST crimper tool holder. That's kind of nice. I got wall control instead of the IKEA things. I probably should have gotten the IKEA things. Those are a lot cheaper. Wall control can be pretty expensive. I did, however, buy the wall control stuff that I bought, dings and dents. So it was a lot cheaper. And so the corners are messed up where they've dropped the package. All right, I think we're scraping the barrel here at this point. Although it seems like each page there's a slightly higher chance that we're going to get something relevant. Stargate. I'm not going to try to say that word. Dallas. Press quick action lock power connector. What? Huh? What even? Is that a Dremel? What's going on here? What is this? Where am I? What is this place? All right. I have a project that I need to do with 3D printing and connectors, crimped connectors. My headlights have two just exposed spade connectors on them. I need to get in there with calipers and measure everything out. But I think if I try to measure it, it's going to short out across the calipers. I don't want to melt my calipers, you know? Oh, we can download a 45 ACP. All right. You wouldn't download a gun. I guess you can these days. Spacer for DuPont crimping tool. Yeah, everybody's making something like this. What? JST crimp tool. Well, on Amazon, of course, that's going to be that. But I would like to find the actual one. How to crimp all this stuff with one single thing. He's going to be like, put the stuff in the stuff. It's going to be all the... there are the prices. There you go. You found the actual link. All right. What is... It's a little weird looking. I have a feeling he's going over exactly the same stuff that I am. Wait, what are you doing? He's cutting them down? Bro, why you do that? Actually, that might be smart. That might be, he might have just done a very smart thing there. I actually kind of agree with what he just did. Because you guys saw what mine were doing. They were going into the jacket of the wire. Yeah. The wire gets stopped to the right. Okay, what is this? This is the JST specific, the don't stick a hot dog into that. Crimping, JST connector crimping instantly. Bradley Gawthorpe, what you need to know about wiring. What? JST is not a connector. Oh, this is a Hackaday article that I missed. Last week I was using a 6 development kit with Digilant PMod. Still using the PMod HP5. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So what do we got? Blah, 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 blah. Consider not crimping. I guess you can buy them. You can buy them. Yeah, so these are the tracks that are meant to be drawn into a machine. And then see, that's a good crimp right there. Look at that. It's beautiful. Except for the violating of the jacket of the wire. That should not be split there. Well, there's a nice little write-up here. I like this. This thing is an evil tool. The PA09 and the PA20. This is an evil tool. It does not care about you. It does not like to do things properly. You do, however, get the level of control that they're talking about here, where your wire will curl, and then that will hug the end of the length. But if you overdo it with these, which is not hard to do, you will end up bending the crimp. This is what I've been using. There are other styles too. Look at that thing. Oh, that must be nice. I would not say that my process is canonical. Is there canon? Are we following canon? Where's the crimping extended universe? Is that what we're supposed to be talking about right now? Stripping the end of your wire, then giving it a little twist. I use a stripping tool. Okay, so he's got like a specific depth stripping tool. And then he uses the PAO evil. Yeah. I pinch the end so that it fits into the crimping tool, but this is okay, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, so this is basically the tutorial that I went over. You were saying pretty pictures at the bottom. Jalopy was, that is. Okay, so that's not, so the professional ones are like a box, and you stick the wire in the box, and it just goes ka-chunk, and then that's it. This is different. This is specifically for stripping a wire at a particular location. That's a nice tool. I don't know if I have anything like that. Yeah, the PA09 you get individual control over, but the crimp tends to stick in the jaws. That's what that other 3D print was, where they put a platform on either side of it to keep it from bending the crimp piece. I'm talking about something that like does it automatically. But this is clever, though. This guy cuts off the ends, and then I guess it doesn't probably loop back in. Whatever he's doing, it's taking a long time, and it looks very fiddly. Time is money. Sort of. All right. Cool. We didn't learn anything. Everything I'm doing is fine. We didn't learn a goddamn thing. What is that? That looks expensive. $30. Does that one have like a depth on it? Wait, what's so good about this one? I want to take a look at it. Oh no, it's just it just looks weird. it just looks weird. Look at all them jaws. I guess with this one, you get to choose what your jacket crimp and, yeah. That's kind of cool. All right, get it out of here. Get it all out of here. I don't want to look at anything ever again. Ah, hand ratcheting crimping tool, $1,227. This is more like what we're talking about. What is this thing going to do for me? Well, it's going to have a cookie policy, apparently. What's your spaghetti policy on this website? How does this work? I can't, like, here's a super zoom window that's too small to be functional. What the hell, man? The image doesn't get larger with it. How do I use this? What is this? So it's for secure for SSH. Yeah, that's for like a different thing, isn't it? $1,000 tool though. Feel like spending money on something you'll use 3 times. Huh, okay, all right, well. Those reciprocating dingle arms, huh? JST crimp tool. How do they, yeah, I don't get how the machines that do it, where you just insert the wire into this little pee-pee hole and then it just does it. Usually makes a big noise. Okay, anyway, no, so none of this stuff is gonna work. I mean, I could probably invent something like this that would hold the JST, the JST connector, but JST connectors are so small. I guess I'm just stuck doing what I'm doing. So we're back to what I was doing before. Which would be on this camera. And I gotta move this over so I can see my production. All right, so yeah. Well, those are the 2 that we'll do for now anyway. I'm gonna put the DB connectors on the ends of these. So let me go get the things that are gonna label these wires on either end. And I don't think inside of this part of the control panel, I'm really gonna do anything to like spiral wrap these wires. I think these wires are gonna hang out in their little wire holders, but they're going to be allowed, just open, right? I'm not gonna like double wrap and redouble wrap them and stuff. So where are those little wire label things that I have? They're in one of these drawers over here. You guys can look at what I'm doing. There's no solution to the nightmare. It's a never-ending. And the problem is I'm trying to do things correctly. You know, I should never do things correctly. Oh God, the wireless wheel module is sitting in this bin, and it just reminded me of that entire project, thus souring my milk. We put all that effort into reverse engineering the button protocol, and I didn't really even use it in the end because it was so weird and buggy. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. Yeah, but I'm trying to do everything correctly, right? I'm trying to put my best foot forward. And what that means is that I want to have good crimped connectors on all my stuff, because good crimped connectors last. They work really well and they last. They don't like deteriorate with the project. So if you're, one of the most annoying things is when you start on the thing you're trying to fix, and that turns into 5 things to fix because you had the audacity of trying to go into your own design and rearrange things, thus causing wires to flex in ways that you didn't really anticipate, and they all break. And then you break and you start yelling at things. It always happens. It always goes down like that. All right, I'm not finding them. I don't know what I did with them. Oh, you know what? I think they're in with a motors bin somewhere. Yeah, correct does not end as soon as the thing starts functioning properly. No, that's doing things correctly is a bit more breadth than that. Good to see people out on a Saturday night. Good to have you guys here hanging out with me. Usually I'd like to do games on Saturdays, but we got kind of a lot of work to do, and I was getting a little antsy in the pantsy about the stuff that I need to get done. Got little copper plates in here that I'm not using for anything. I wonder what I'm going to do with those. There's nothing in that bin. Gonna rain on my parade. Listen, if you're doing something outside, you should anticipate a little bit of rain. God, now I sound like my own commenters. I sound like the people in chat who are nitpicking everything. Every little corner case they have to comment on. What the hell did I do with those things? So the 3D printer had these little, the 3D printer, when I got it, they had these little clips that would go around the X and the Y axis and stuff. And so I'm looking for those. Yeah, I think they're somewhere, but I think they're somewhere. Yeah, they exist. But I had them in one place. And I don't know where that one place is. Got a lot of clear bins around here, and I've been looking through them. Don't see them. Which means I'd probably like default to spiral wrap. No, not spiral wrap. We could just put the little eyelets around those, and that'll hold them in place. But I'd rather sneak one or two of these little axis labels over the wire, because that would be a clever way for me to keep track of what wires where. What wires where? Where what wire? No, not there. I'm finding all kinds of little stashes of 3D printer parts, some which I have not used in ages. This bin is probably a throwaway. Some of this stuff is totally useless. I'm not really striking it here. I wonder if I like took them all and like was like, oh, I'll organize these, and then I like threw them out. That's a thing that I've been doing. Remember that this is here. Oh, here's a crimpable DB connector. I don't really think that's particularly useful to us right now, though. I don't think I want to directly crimp the DB connector. I think I'd rather use the solder cups. I think that's a little cleaner. Just a bit. All right, I'm not finding them. We're not going to use them. Damn. That's a shame. This is like the perfect application for that thing. Last thoughts about where it could be. You guys can't even see me. I'm not even on camera. I was fishing around over there. Fishing a boot. Oh, wait, they're in here. Always in the last place you look. I don't know how they got into this kit of stuff. I need to organize my shop at some point. All these bins full of miscellany. I kind of need to consolidate or deconsolidate. Yeah, it was literally right in front of me. Fantastic. What's going on glucose level? Well, that should be coming down. I guess it is starting to. This is the unfortunate result of my having pho for lunch. A lot of noodles in that soup, and I ate it a little too quickly. So up we go, and we've peaked, and we're coming back down. So we're going to let it come back down a little bit. The last thing that I want to have happen is to have it plateau and remain hyperglycemic for a long time. I got to check back in on it in just a minute. Where did this thing get all that heat from? Oh, this is sitting on the bottom of the bench. Those LED lights that I have here are kind of warm. There's a Y-axis. That's a Z. I really want 2 X's and 2 Y's, but I have X, Y, Z prime, and Z. Z prime. There's another Z. That's another Z. How many Z's? X. See? Y. I think I have 3 Ys now. See? Y. X. Okay, there we go. I think I have 3 of each. Cool. Cool. So, X's. Really, I just want 1 collar at each end. Do these open up? Okay, you can't clip them on. You have to insert the wires into them. Looks like they're not going to really let all the wires through. The wires are a bit thicker than anticipated because of the silicon jackets. I mean, I could just put it on one of them as a label, but I'd rather these hold on to all of them at once. Let's see here. See if I can swing this. My roommates came home, so the corgi is up there with them. Unfortunately, we do not have the dog coming down here to check up on us. The door's closed because I'm so loud when I stream. I wonder if I need to put new MEK in the bottle. These are too small. They don't fit. God damn it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. How many of these do I have for each one? I have X, Y, that one's a Y. This one is another Y. Okay, so I have 3 of each. So I guess what I should do is I'll just put 1 on these, and then I'll put 2 on the long run. And if I do that, I guess what I can do is I could just put it on one of the wires, and then that will just mark that. Although it'd probably be better to have these on the other end, and then on this connector I could put a... whatever. whatever. And then on the blue wire, we put Y. And then I'll put the others aside. I could use 1 more X and Y, because then I'd have 1 on each end of the run. But I guess the motor it's clear which motor is which, whether it's X or Y. So maybe I'll put 2 on this wire, and then one on the motor one at the connector end, at the DB connector end, instead of at the motor end. Yeah, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. So yeah, and then we put this thing on this side of the blue wire, and that'll get cut eventually, and we'll put that on the DB connector now. And then this one on the blue wire, because like when you go to the motor, you know which motor that is. It's pretty clear. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so DB connector. What did I do with it? I took it out, and then I put it on the bench, and then it vanished. It promptly left the mortal coil. It is indeed gone. Permanently? Yeah, probably. Nah, probably got pushed over to the side here. Where is it? Okay, apparently not. Where's the other DV connector? Where did it go? Wait a minute. Things can't go that far today. I didn't do much today. Where else did this stuff have gone? Well, I did get the gloves out, so maybe it's under the gloves. I mean, there is a DV connector over there, but it's not the right one. I'm losing my mind. There it is, my mind. I've lost it. Show yourself, vile DB connector. Where could it have gone? Under all this crap? No. Maybe that's what fell on the floor earlier. Hold on a minute. It is. That is what fell on the floor. Ha! That was the part that fell. I remember noting when I was working, I was like, something just fell on the floor. I wonder what that was. Oh, it bent one of the connector pieces. How's it looking over there? That looks okay. It landed directly on one of its wire chunks. Okay, so DB connector. Let's just get that in the clamp, and then we'll work on with it from there. So I guess I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. But the numbers are 1 through 8, and then I forget which way it starts. I think, yeah, 1 through 8, and then 9 through 15. Older electronics have some weird numbering conventions going on. They're always confusing. So X and then Y. And that'll just take up that entire side of the connector. Which side of the connector is it going to take it? Bottom or the top? That doesn't really matter. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. And then from there, we basically have a springboard to figure out what the other connections are. I am going to have to do silicon on the 3D prints. We're not really going to be able to test it today, but we will get to that for sure. My scissors aren't here. Huh. I think I put them at the other desk for some reason. All right, those are nice and even. And then this thing, I'll just do the same, basically the same distance as the crimp, only this time we get to use solder. Solder and, should I shrink wrap it just for strain relief? Technically, it shouldn't need strain relief inside of a, like in a panel, but I think I need to do strain relief. So I'll get the shrink wrap kit. Where did that go? Where did that get off to? I think it's around here somewhere. All right, so I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm gonna get the shrink wrap. Before I forget, you always forget to do the shrink wrap. And then you try to do it and you're like, wait a minute, something is wrong. Where is shrink wrap? My big kit of shrink wrap. I used to live over there. I don't see it over there. Where have you gone? Okay. If I were me, and I'm not really saying I'm not, and I were to put something like a kit full of shrink wrap somewhere, oh yeah, it's down here, in the drawer. I need more drawers. You categorize drawers a little bit better. This drawer is too general purpose. All right, back over to here. Basically, love is a good shrink wrap kit. All right, so for the DB, for 28 gauge, I guess I can use this stuff. This stuff's a little thin, actually. Ah, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Wait, is this that size? This is this size. I actually have a label maker that has the labels you can print on shrink-wrapped sleeves, which is pretty cool, but this doesn't need that. That would be cool. I mean, if you're doing like a full like electrical cabinet, you know, with all the wire organizers and stuff, you can label both ends of a run, which is always great to do. The stuff that Gonad makes, he has to put in a wire, like extra wires in, just in case something goes wrong many years down the line. They have another wire there to use as a spare, which is absolutely wild to me. I need 8 little pieces of shrink wrap like this. 8. Ridiculous. There's a lot of repetitious soldering going on here. Ugh. I've been looking for a new pair of, like, these are like precision scissors, I guess is what they call them. I've been looking for another pair of these things, and boy howdy, there are some deceptive listings around like beauty products. Like for instance, this fits my hands perfectly. I ordered a set of scissors that dimensionally looked like exactly the same thing. You could hold them up to the screen. You go, yeah, that's what they are. They were these scissors, but 20% smaller, which my giant meaty hands did not fit through comfortably. So I don't know where I can get stuff that's not like super deceptive about the listings. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7. Just eyeballing the length. And then number 8. Aren't there scissors that have like a little like platform coming off of it and you can like set a depth? I need that. I need all the super elite weird tools. All of them. Alton Brown's gonna knock down my door and start yelling about monotaskers. That or jellyfish chemicals helping your brain. I can't believe, well, no, yes I can. Anyone working in Hollywood, I guess, would do just about anything, but he's in some commercial for some snake oil thing. I'm like, really, Alton? I trusted you. Of course, then I didn't see him for 20 years, and now that, and so whatever. All right, make sure to get the shrink wrap on these things. Soldering iron tip, we're just going to use the normal soldering iron tip. I guess if these were slightly larger, I'd want to do a different tip and just to make my life a little bit easier, but we're still working in very small sizes. I am a little concerned about these wires versus the NEMA 23 motor that I have. I mean, they should be okay, but it's not a lot of copper. Now, if we were the super cool kids, we would have a solder pot. Of course, I can't think of anything that I would have in the shop that would be more dangerous than a pot of molten solder, but you'd have a solder pot and then you just dip the wire ends into it. I had the opportunity to use a solder pot before, but I never got to. Never actually got to the point where I was able to justify using it in a lab, which is a shame because it's a pot full of molten solder. What could be cooler? Oh, this thing isn't helping. I think the way I did the DB connector before is I pinched it like that. Now I'm pinching the whole connector. It's more connector for your connector. That random fart went off, right? That wasn't a miss fart. All right, so we're just going in order of the connector. I'm going to load those up with a little bit of initial solder. These are already tinned. And I'm kind of assuming that blue is pin 1, although I don't think it is. It might be the other way around. You guys are like way over my shoulder, right? Am I blocking? A cup of tea is dangerous enough on the bench. No need for a whole roll of molten solder. Yeah, I guess. But it's fun. So it'd be blue, and then the next one would be yellow, and the next one would be white. So what I'm going to do is put the white one up now, so I don't have to flip everything. This. I guess I could do this on the microscope. It would look a little bit better. Where are we? There we are. Yeah, that, like, I don't know what the setup would have to be for that. Because it is just rife with opportunities to maim you permanently. So it'd be blue, and then yellow will go on the under row, and then it's white over here, just like that, and then I'll do the next connector, I guess. There's no specific pinout. All I need to, oh, damn it. I hate it when I do that. When you melt the plastic a little bit. There's no specific pinout. I'm just sort of like doing it, you know? and then I'll write it down later. I guess the only really good use is if you had a lot of stuff to do. But that's what, I mean, you do a lot of soldering jobs like that. Seems like that would be kind of a useful tool. But then again, when it gets late at night and you're not thinking straight and you brush up against something, you only will have seconds to get to the ER. Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like it's a little bit of a liability. Little bit. All right, cut this short. And get these exposed. I need to be absolutely sure that I get the shrink wrap on this. These, there's not a lot of copper here, so these aren't going to have a lot of flexings before they break, and we're still very early in the building process of this device, so they are going to be flexed a lot. So it really saves me time later doing this properly now. Unintentional deep-fried chestnuts. Yeah, you thought that McDonald's coffee was bad. And if you actually read into that story, it was bad. Like, holy shit. It's used a lot to kind of discredit people being litigious. But man, if you get into the details of that, whoo boy, that was a bad scene. That was a bad scene, that coffee. I have one crimp at large. I don't know what happened to it. I think I brushed it with when I moved the vise. Not crimp, shrink wrap. One shrink at large. Yeah, there it is. I got it. Yoink. Having the powered wire stripper and a solder pot, I wonder if that would make large wire loom jobs easier, in spite of the liability of having a pot of solder molten. That didn't tin at all. I think I need to tin it over at the microscope so I can see what I'm doing. No, I can kind of see what I'm doing over here. You guys probably can't because of the small window. Go. Of course, the smoke is going right in my face. Fan deals with it pretty quickly, though. That's why I got a fan running on the floor. Okay, there. Those are tinned. Now I just need 2 of these without melting the plastic here. I've got too many things in my hands right now. These cups take a lot of solder in them. And I've switched to thinner solder because of with the anticipation of working on smaller surface mount stuff. Hello? Okay. So now with the blue wire. I don't really know if I should have gone with multicolor wires or if I should have just done uniform. Uniform might have looked a lot cooler. Just have a unified wire color. Or categories. I mean, I guess it'll help me differentiate between things at a glance, but fill them up, jam the wire in the hot solder. Yeah. I think that's the best. It's probably not the way that they would tell you to do it in like whatever wiring manual, but like that is super satisfying what I just pulled off right there. That's super satisfying. The reason I'm using magnification is because, first of all, you guys are here, so I need to be able to see what I'm doing while talking to you, but also it means that I can sit back here behind the camera. Usually I'd be cramming my face into this thing. Hey. God damn it. Hold on. This thing is like shifting in here. Stop shifting. What are you doing? Being stupid. Stop being stupid. You're being stupid. Okay, got it. All right, so this one on this side. Yeah, those curl around each other a couple times, don't they? Oh, wait, that goes the other way. Without dropping the shrink wrap out of the thing, I gotta make sure they all have their shrink wrap on them. The solder's getting caught and everything. No! This sucks. I need to make a thing. I need to make a jig. Make a jig for everything. Everything gets its own little mounted thing that holds it in a specific way for just the one job and nothing else, and it's completely useless for any other task. Ah, damn it. Come on, man. Just hold that steady for just a second. Jeez. No, it's not. It's everything is a bad angle. Hold on, we can do it this way. Done this way in the past, where we clamp it like that, just so it holds it flat. There. That'll hold. Okay. There we go. All's good. Everybody's happy. I'm not happy. You shut up. Okay, so get that. And then it's, the yellow wire. Oops, something just flew when I did that. Did I lose? Probably lost a... Yeah, I lost the crimp jacket. Hold on. I gotta go down here and get the thing and then put it back up and make sure everything's properly on there. Or did I? I don't think I did, actually. I'm going crazy, chat. I think I'm actually losing all of my mental faculties. Okay, move this wire out there, get myself back and situated so I can do a little bit of soldering. How's it going, Pyro? How go? How it do? I was doing the yellow wire. Yellow wire comes next. The yellow wire that did actually fling its jacket off. God damn it. I gotta find that jacket. Oh, here it is. Good. Okay, it's nearby. The important part is that they'll get a little piece of shrink wrap around the end so that when I'm screwing around with this thing, I don't end up breaking any of the wires off. Right. Not sleeping well. Bum, bum, bum. That sucks. A lot of that going around lately. I'll just tin these right now because they're kind of a pain in the butt to tin. It's really, they're really not. If anything sounds like I'm complaining, I really shouldn't be, because this is like fun. This is actually fun to do. This is a nice organized wiring task. It's fun and easy. If you're into that sort of thing. I don't judge. This one does not have a jacket on it. Why? Ugh. So there is a jacket on the floor that I need to find, because it fired off of one of the wires. Wait. Okay, that's for the other wire. Okay. That one has one. This one has one. Yep, it's just one of them is missing it. Air conditioner fixes again? Didn't you just do something with your air conditioner? Or you've been fixing it? We were looking up manuals for it the other day. I remember that now. Where did the one tiny little piece of shrink wrap... Maybe I could just cut another piece of shrink wrap instead of like rolling around on the floor looking for precisely the thing. And instead of that, maybe I can just cut another piece, because that whole sleeve is over here. There you go. Found the main board online for 45 euros. Oh, damn, that's easy. We're still waiting on the ice maker to get here. I don't have ice. And I'm pretty well sure at this point that it is the thermostat that went bad. Because it's like intermittently working or not working. But at this point, given up. So just bought a whole new unit to go inside of the fridge. But it's taking an absolute glacial amount of time. Absolutely glacial amount of time to get here. Right, and then we do the other yellow wire. These do look kind of small for motor wires, don't they? A little concerned. But I guess we'll run it. I mean, we'll just run it and see if they heat up. I don't think it's going to be running at 100% all the time, you know? 100%. What? Oh. What the? What did that? Wait, huh? What just happened there? Oh, I guess it's snuck under. Ta-da! All right, cool. 45 euros with 16 euro shipping. Ugh. Those are separate. Yes, they are. Cool. Let's get all the jackets down. All of the jackets, all the way down, all down on top of these things. Some of them are, they all should be pretty tightly soldered. Oh, that's weird. Weird, weird, weird. Okay, all these things all the way down. How many wires have you soldered with no shrink wrap? None. I think they all have it. We'll find out. That's what I'm doing now. Gotta check. And just make sure that all those jackets are all at the top. Otherwise, they won't actually protect anything. Uh-oh. We got 2 potential violators right here. Nope, they're good. They've got jackets. They're just on the other side here. Starting to get a little concerned. Like, how could I have missed two entire ones? Ridiculous. What kind of chicken shit operation is this? Stow it. Hey, they're almost even, too. 2 of them are just a little bit short. But they've all got jackets on them. Then the heat gun. Heat gun is just below the bench here, so I'm just going to grab it real quick. I could use the hot air gun, but the hot air soldering gun, but I really don't want to melt everything. The heat gun is a nice, easy, simple tool. Like $30, and this thing has been a nice, occasional use kind of tool. Yeah, I mean, my ability to do this right on the first try stems from many, many, many times forgetting to do the jacket. You do all the soldering, and then you're like, okay, now I just slide the sleeve up. Uh-oh, and there's nothing there. So this thing acts like a lamp for the thermals, which is kind of neat. I don't want to melt anything on my desk, though. But I do want to get this shot on the microscope, because I think it would be cool to see. There you go. Here we go. Bada bing. Be careful of that thing. Forgetting to put the back shell on a D37 connector after soldering all 37 wires. Oh my God. The more merciful ones are the split ones. Beautiful. So now when I flex these, when I move these around, they're going to tend to bend at the wire and not at the metal. That's the reason for the shrink wrap. It's not that I think that these are going to connect to one another. It's just to give them some strain relief, so we get a little bit of longevity out of what we just did. And now I can move the little labels all the way down to the DB connector so that I know which one's which at a glance. Oh, there it is. I was like, oh no. X and Y, just like this, just like so. I know. These are just left over from a 3D printer that I have. These are on the Creality. So now I know which one is X and which one is Y, I guess. They have shrink wrap labels that you can print labels on, or with the little label maker thing that I have. And I have some of that. I actually do have some of that. So I could have done that as well. I could have done super fancy labels. That like that. This like that. This one is Y. And then on the PCB, I've got YM and XM very clearly labeled. First time plugging that in. Now we haven't figured out how we're going to water cool this thing yet. I don't know how we're going to do that. We might do like a brass tube along the back of it, just along that, because on these TMC drivers don't actually vent their heat at the top of the chip. That's silly. That's an insulative thing. So what they really do is they vent it onto the ground plane, and so extending the ground plane to the other side of the board, we then have a strip of ground plane that we can be concerned with cooling. So if I were to water cool this, the best way might probably be to run a little section of brass tube along that ground plane, and then I can run water through the brass tube. Water through the brass tube. Sorry, I misspoke. Yous calls yourselves a Phillian. Thought yous was from Philly. Yeah, that's how it goes in. That's the way she goes. So this will mount here. I still have, we have to look up some stuff in order to figure out how the lighting and stuff is going to get wired. And then I can get most of that control panel wired. But yeah, this'll go out and along this stretch right here, where it'll pick up the other connectors along the way. But that's a little bit restrictive in the amount of wire that I put on this thing, but I guess I don't want the motor wires to be too super duper long. Only as long as they need to be, you know? Cool. All right, well, we did that. Got most of the stuff done. Let's take a look at this 3D print now that we've given it more than a couple hours to sit in the presence of MEK. You'll sit here in the presence of methyl ethyl ketones. Yeah, the only problem with that length of wire is that I can't. This has to be kind of a hard bend right there. That's okay. I guess that's okay. We'll figure out what other connections are needed in there. Do that in a little bit. Do you think it's time to release it from the jar? It's gonna be stinky. You're stinky. Certainly isn't flexible in any way. It doesn't really look like, I don't know if it really did much. Here. I mean, that looks a little smoother than it was before, but it's not quite there yet. Maybe I probably need to put a little bit more in, and then we'll try it a little longer then. Maybe the inside? No, the inside is already kind of nasty. This is already a bit nasty. Warm water in a pan. Oh, for this? Actually, look at that top. That looks like it's starting to, like it started to do some stuff. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I think I'm just going to put a little bit more in and we'll just close it up again. Because it does look like it's started to do stuff. Jeez, why is this like pressurized? I wouldn't recommend having a squirty end like I do. It's probably not the good strategy. Ugh. Little drips got on the desk. Oh boy. All right, back into the jar. And then that's just sort of a very haphazard vapor seal. I guess that stuff will eventually burn off, but I really don't want it to touch the side of the jar. What's going on there? Wire can just be bent a little bit. Don't touch anything. You're supposed to just hang. Are there little footsteps, or is that just... I think that's just my imagination. The tape held up, yeah. What chemical are you using? Methyl ethyl ketone. MEK. And we're just letting it sit in the presence of the MEK. It's like that when I got here. No, the outside edge seems to be softening up a little bit. Sealing nut from the cable glands, working the motor I worked on. Oh my god. There's so many layers to those motor connectors too. They're all interlocked with one another. Okay, I think I've run out of stuff again. I hate it when this happens. It's like everything that I'd want to attempt to try to do is going to take a little bit more time. Like it's going to take more time than I would like to be streaming. I do need to do longer streams, but you guys saw my glucose level. I'm feeling it right now. It's kind of a struggle when your glucose level is above 300 for an extended amount of time. This can get kind of dangerous eventually. I should be okay. I'm not that okay. All right, hold on. I'm going to give a big bolus of insulin. It's not, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, whatever. There's a lot of waiting when you use regular old Humalog. A lot of waiting for stuff to happen. Especially, and this is what I call sort of the weekend liver, where your body does not respond to what you're doing with it. Like I can give tons and tons of insulin on the weekend, like a Saturday and a Sunday, and my liver is just like, hey, do you want glucagon too? And so nothing happens with the insulin. I get very insulin resistant. That's what I'm kind of afraid of today. So I am gonna go take care of that. Look at that fucker not going down at all. I'm gonna go take care of that. This is gonna sit for, well, until I feel like it. I guess I'm going to check in on it now and then. Maybe I can move it over to the other desk and view it while I'm, I don't know, masturbating. Let's not talk about jars in that context. Anyway, I can look at this thing while I'm sitting at my desk doing stuff, but I got a doggy that needs to be walked. That's going to give me a little bit of exercise. Hopefully gets the blood pumping, gets some of the fluids moving inside of my body, and my glucose level will hopefully fall as a result. This, I don't know. The jury's still out on the MEK. This stuff looks like it's gotten a little bit wetter, which is good. That means that the layers might be breaking down a little bit, and then hopefully the MERS of the polymer chains are getting together and sealing. I hope that's the case, but I just don't know. It could possibly be that I need to like dip it in MEK, or I need to brush the stuff on it. I don't want to do an epoxy dip because that'll end up coming off like a shell. I don't think that'll work. So the salt sintering could potentially work for sealing it, but it makes the texture of the print really, really bad. So the question is, how am I going to water seal the PETG print? And people would go, well, don't use PETG. And it's like, well, that's what I use here. You know, it's like That's my material. I really enjoy using the PETG, and I don't think switching to a different material will necessarily alleviate these problems. Another thing that I could do is, well, no, there's not a whole hell of else that I can really do. Bake the print so that it seals up a little bit better. That doesn't work. That just doesn't work. That's what the salt sintering was supposed to be. The salt sintering can make you a very airtight part, though. Excuse me, a little burpy. I also need to find a jar that actually lets me view what's inside of it better. A coating, possibly? I mean, that's what I was talking about with like brushing the methyl ethyl ketone on. If I brush the methyl ethyl ketone on, then I guess I'm concentrating it more in an area. If I dip it in epoxy, that should get to everything, and it could potentially not get in the way. I mean, in the parts where I'm putting where I need to have the hole be a certain size, I am passing through it something that won't have water coming out of the side. So yeah, if this fails miserably, I guess brushing it is my brushy is my next thought. And then after that, it's just brushy with epoxy on the inside, I guess. And we can see what kind of punishment that can handle. An epoxy dip, I have no idea. What, just like dunk it and then hang it up? I think this is doing something. I think this is doing something. We'll see. I'm going to leave it like this for a little while. My problem with all of that stuff is that none of that's going to really bond with the PETG, and it'll just create a shell, like a weak shell that's just going to like come off later on. Resin and some epoxy don't go well with water, so you have to think about that. Well, this is, I mean, all I'm trying to do is melt the plastic together. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not, oh, you mean like if I used resin? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If I used an epoxy, I'd probably use like a plastic epoxy. You would have to water that down, wouldn't you? How would you do that? I don't know. Push comes to shove. The absolute last resort, my final resort when I'm completely and utterly giving up on any of this cool stuff that we're trying, we go with what works, which is taking a brass tube and wrapping it around the laser. That's just what would work in this scenario. If push comes to shove, all I need to do is find a forming die that's a little bit smaller than the tube, possibly freeze water in the tube, and then bend it around the forming die, and then I can open it up a little bit, put the laser tube in there, and then it'll clamp down. See videos, people heating the acetone to make a vapor. I don't really want to heat methyl ethyl ketones. I don't want to breathe that in. The lungs are kind of like a big sponge of soft tissue that I don't think will really enjoy methyl ethyl ketone. A hot water bath, maybe. Yeah, I don't think I need to do any of that. Look, before we do all the weird shit that you guys are suggesting, why don't we just stick with what seems to be doing something right now, which is just waiting. Room temperature is enough for vapors in these things? Oh, you mean like room temperature, but not like a bath? I was like, why does everybody want me to bathe my acetone chemicals? Yeah, I would suggest doing it outside. I have a fan on my back and I have the window open. Other than that, I mean, I do have an exhaust fan in here that I could turn on. I'm also not exposing this stuff to the air for very long. So, you know, we put a bunch of drips more of the stuff in here. So whatever it is going to be cycling around. This thing will be exposed to it very weakly for quite some time. I'm going to leave this alone for a while longer. I mean, I'm hoping that we're already starting to see some smoothness to the layers there, and that's kind of why this thing looks like it's more wet. I don't know. Do I need to be more aggressive with it or not? I could dribble the stuff. No, I don't want to end up like totally melting it, you know? You still have the fan with this carbon filter for soldering fumes? I think that's been behind the desk for so long. I think it's directly behind the drawers of the desk where I never have to look at or think about it. Carbon filter is not really going to do much to this stuff. It doesn't matter. You guys are solving problems that I don't have. Stop trying to solve problems I don't have. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this for a little longer, and I'll take a look at it. You know, what if I leave it overnight? Because it doesn't appear to be like melting. It's just sort of softening slowly. So at some point, maybe it will do what we desire it to do. Maybe it'll melt down a little more. And it might just be a very slow process, and I'm kind of okay with it being a slow process. Another thing that I would love to try is ironing. I didn't think about that earlier, but that was a suggestion from a chatter. Was that who said that? I forget now. Sorry. I'm sorry, person who said that. You can rewind the VOD and see the moment Bother forgot your name. Ironing is when the 3D printer goes over the layer again. I don't know if that's going to be totally cursed with PETG because of the propensity for boogers to ruin your prints, or if that will make a perfectly flat surface and you know, squish down and flatten the surface at the same time. That might actually lead to things being watertight. Or all this stuff fails, maybe I brush it with the methyl ethyl ketones and just take a brush, put it in there, and just bloop, 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 and see if that works. Anyway, I feel kind of sick. I need to hydrate. I'm hyperglycemic as hell right now. I hate it. I hate this. So I'm going to go deal with me. You guys deal with you. You guys know where to go after stream. I don't really need to corral you anywhere. Everyone's streaming apparently today. I don't know. I don't know what's in the water. I guess it's cold. Thought you meant the clothing iron. Yeah, with the clothes iron. No. That would be no. What I mean is the nozzle going back over your print in order to iron it. I have wanted to play with ironing for a while with 3D prints, so you should get your iron out, Gonad. You should probably press your pants. I didn't mean, you know, we've all been wanting to say something about that for a while now, but I guess that's on me. All right, I'm just messing around. All right, I'll catch you guys later. We'll see where the stuff goes. Hopefully we have a not only a watertight print, but a print that can take a little bit of water pressure, because that pump is kind of mean and it puts a little pressure in there. The crinkles all extra flavor. Ooh, a digestive from 2 days ago. God damn it. I ate one of those digestive biscuits at my desk, and there are still crumbs in places. That's what they say about fries. So the beard's supposed to do, right? I gotta go. Get out of here. I'm done with you guys. I'm done. I'm gonna go take a nap or something. I'll catch you guys later. I'll be on Discord if you want to talk, and I guess I'm gonna wait on this thing for a little while, and maybe I'll report back. We'll see. Catch you guys later. Thank you for joining the stream, and I was about to say catch you guys later. That was like totally circular. Here's the end card. There's all my social medias if you feel like it. I'll catch you guys later.